You don't get to say that very often here in the state of California, that you will see rain potentially every day starting tomorrow for the rest of a 7-day period. So we'll take it. We'll take it for sure. Who knows if it'll rain on our parade in terms of high school football? Who knows if it'll rain on Saturday's Fresno State game? We'll break it all down, what it'll all look like moving forward into the tail end of this week. What do we got on the show today? It's a good show for you. 3 hours of sports talk as we take you all the way up to Laker basketball tonight. Lakers and Thunder. Hey, two really good Western Conference teams clashing at it tonight. That's going to be a good one. Pregame starting at 6:15 with a tip-off at 6:30 from Oklahoma City. The Oklahoma City Thunder, who have only lost one game this season, and are looking to be maybe the most elite team we've seen in quite some time. Maybe not since the Golden State Warriors back in the 2017 Warriors, I want to say. 2016 Warriors, maybe. We'll check on that. My memory serves me incorrect sometimes when it comes to the Warriors years and the way it rolls together. Regardless, the Lakers have a tall task tonight, and we'll discuss that sometimes in the show here. Why don't we, I'll go off the top here, in terms of that. We got our producers who are in the glass today. It's Jorge and Tanvir combo today. I feel like we rarely get this combo these days, but we got Jorge Tanvir in for us today. Guys, how are we doing on this Wednesday? How are we doing in this November Wednesday? You ready to say goodbye to the sun for the next 7 days?
Well, is it going somewhere?
It's going behind the clouds and the rain that we may be seeing for the next 7 days.
I'm happy to see rain.
Yeah?
I think we'll see the sun sometimes.
Yeah.
I'll come through.
It'll come through. It'll say what's up. It's like a neighbor, but it won't be in your house. It's not a permanent tenant the next few days. Tanvir, how you doing on this Wednesday?
Doing good. Yeah, not usually on this day, but I decided I got nothing to do. I might as well do something productive. So I'll pop in here. But yeah, as for the rain, I'm gonna wonder how it's gonna affect some of these games that are gonna be happening over this weekend. Especially these high school football games. But overall, pretty good. Maybe
not the rain during the games, but the rain certainly what it does to the fields these days, especially the grass fields, especially the one we're going to be at on Friday at La Monica. Wonder what kind of wear and tear we could see potentially. I got to imagine they've kept that turf pretty good throughout the year, but a rain certainly could cause some issues in terms of football. I wonder what Saturday will look like in terms of that as well. I'll say this. Fog probably will be a huge issue here over the next 7 days, right? Once we get to that rain and that morning fogginess, then it starts getting pretty crazy. Lakers Thunder tonight. I just want to get to initial thoughts real quick, and then we're going to do a little quick Niner hit. By the way, a reminder, guests today on the show, we got Kaylee Stanziani, who's going to come with us, come in here for the next 10 minutes, talking the Raw Athlete program from Raw Farms. And then we'll have Gabe Camarillo, KMPH's Gabe Camarillo, in the second hour, talking all things Fresno State, and plus some high school conversation as well. And then in the third hour, I think I had a really good interview to start the season with Ryan McCarthy. The Bulldog women are playing very good basketball to start this season, so I wanted to revisit that interview today in the third hour. We'll replay my interview with Ryan McCarthy, head coach of the Fresno State women's basketball team. All right, there's the rundown. Forgot to do that. Now we can go to Lakers Thunder real quick in a massive game in terms of the early implications of what this Western Conference will shape up into. We heard in the ESPN update that LeBron James is trending his way back to returning to the Lakers. He won't play tonight, obviously, but he is getting to a place where he will be added to this roster and added to this team that I would say I feel standing here surprised about how well they have played this year. I think I underestimated the capabilities of Austin Reeves and where he can elevate to his game. And it almost feels like the Lakers, I know I'm not comparing Luka and Austin Reeves to being the same player, but it is nice to have two guys that feels like they have the skill sets that they do have, and have the ability to score in the way they do. And the Lakers are clearly showing that maybe this is a team that is to be reckoned with in terms of this Western Conference, and tonight will mean a lot in terms of that. Guys, what is your impression in Lakers Thunder tonight? Decide. I don't know who wants to go first on the thoughts of this game tonight, coming up on 14:30.
Yeah, so I've been surprised as well. I think we all thought that Luka Doncic was going to be able to play at an MVP type level, especially the caliber of player he is. I personally love Austin Reeves, but even I couldn't imagine that he would be averaging 30 points a game this season. And yes, that is kind of inflated, obviously, due to the Luka numbers, Luka being out. But I think the biggest surprise for me has been Jake LaRavia. I mean, we thought that Ayton was kind of going to be the only guy that can provide some semblance of an interior support for this team. But I feel like LaRavia, what he's been doing has been, giving this team depth, which they severely lacked last season. If you look at what he's doing this year, 11 points per game, he's averaging 4 boards and 2 assists. So he's giving he's giving the Lakers somebody that they can look for in terms of the rotation, which I didn't feel like they had last year. And also Marcus Smart. I think Marcus Smart has really helped this squad as well.
I want to before we go to Jorge, I want to just, ESPN's got some good stats on this game tonight, and Austin Reeves, one of these stats. They have a stat called direct drives, points per direct drive, which is a metric where they talk about guys who have at least 50 direct drives to the paint this season. Reeves is currently the most efficient player in basketball right now when it comes to driving to the hoop. He generates 1.43 points per direct drive out of 101 drives qualified. He has the most of those, and Luka Doncic, by the way, has the third most in the NBA, and he averages 1.29. So driving to the hoop, finishing at the rim, even with a team without LeBron, who we know can do that, it's fascinating that the other two guys have that much success being able to get to the basket and finishing there with points.
Yeah, I think Denver said something that they didn't have last year was depth.
Yeah.
And depth was helping them out, basically being the team we didn't expect them to be.
23.8 points per game from the bench, 5 points higher than last year in terms of that. 5 points doesn't sound like a lot, but that is a huge jump.
Yeah, I mean, think about it. If you think about it in the way of numbers, like that's what a 6-man does, and a lot of teams have won titles with the 6-man. So, yeah.
Is this a sustainable, productive situation for this Lakers team? Is the team being able to be efficient in the paint, be able to find the I wonder where teams eventually adjust, and the Thunder is certainly a team that's going to test this out, I would say, inside, with where they go after in terms of the attack there. But I find this interesting in terms of the Lakers have, you mentioned Marcus Smart, who's, he's top 4 in steals right now per game in the NBA as well. Ruri's playing a lot better too. I think Ruri's been, I've had my ups and downs with Rui Hachimura as a player for this team, and he's shooting a lot better. A career high right now from the floor for him at just a little under 60% from the floor. So, Is it just guys playing above what they are, and is it sustainable for 81 through the playoffs, through rounds 1 through 4? Is that possible? That is hard to project. Maybe sometimes you just have a season like this where guys play that level, but the NBA is a grind. You're going to have injuries. And when LeBron's inserted into this situation, what does it affect with the guys that are around them as well? Does it change the math and what guys are going to be doing in terms of their roles? Will it affect guys negatively? I'm not suggesting LeBron makes anybody play worse, but I'm just saying it takes time to adjust in these lineups and the rotation. So I find that question fascinating moving forward for the Lakers. But in terms of the equation tonight, I'm fascinated what chess match we're going to see in OKC.
Yeah, so I honestly think that this is going to be a very tough matchup for the Los Angeles Lakers. You pointed out the numbers when driving to the basket. Well, I think the Thunder are going to provide much more of a defensive issue for that type of offense. I think what the Lakers need to do in this specific game is their perimeter shooting has to be really, really good, because when you have a guy like Chet Holmgren and you have Isaiah Hartenstein down low, and on top of that, this team is the best defense in the NBA right now.
Yeah.
You're going to have to make your shots and get to the foul line. And, that's one thing I think Austin Reeves has done pretty well, is be able to get his free throws whenever he needs to, because of that aggressiveness when he is driving. But
yeah.
I think they have their work cut out for them in this game. I think it's going to have to be a big game from Luka Doncic and a big game from those guys that are shooting for the perimeter.
Well, to your point with how good the Thunder are, you want to hear another stat. The Thunder have the second furthest shot distance average from their opponent this season at 15.8 feet from the floor. Only the New York Knicks have 15.9. They're the best team in terms of that. Opponents are only shooting 50% inside the paint against OKC this season, which is the best in the NBA at this point as well. So, yes, the height matters inside. The contact matters inside as well, where they finish in terms of that. Austin Reeves, it takes some gumption and takes some physicality to be able to finish at the basket, especially with the no fear that they have. And my worry is if the Lakers are so reliant on driving to the inside as well, you're going to get contact. You're going to invite issues sometimes, maybe injury-wise, if they're going to be so reliant on it. The outside shot, we still continue to say that from this Lakers side is something they still need to work on. It's something I still don't really trust yet in terms of what they have, and they need it. And maybe there's a move out there that they'll eventually find. We're early in the season. We're in November. That's going to be a January, February conversation of what they're going to add, because certainly this is not the final version of what this Lakers squad is. But I'm curious to see what this game will tell them. If they get blown out by 20 and they feel like they're a little bit far away, maybe they understand what they'll need to make as far as the move is moving forward. Or if they win tonight, then maybe they tell themselves this conversation of, well, we had LeBron and we continue to hit shots and find ways to score in many other ways, and we are able to break down this defensive juggernaut kind of team. Then maybe that tells you this Laker team is for real. Unlike what I was saying on opening night of the NBA, which was I said flat out, this Laker team cannot win an NBA Finals with its current iteration and roster. And maybe I'm eating crow on it. Who knows? But tonight's going to be fascinating. It's going to be a fascinating game, and you can listen to it right here on 1430 ESPN. Any last points on this before we hit the break here, guys, or you got anything else?
I just wanted to detail just one final thing. This is the best team in terms of defense and field goal percentage by the Thunder, and the Lakers are currently sitting as the best team in terms of field goal percentage. So this is going to be a very, very fun matchup in terms of Lakers offense versus Thunder defense. And finally, I think we're going to see if the Lakers can win a game like this, especially against who's currently sitting as the best team in the NBA, that's going to change what I think about this team for sure.
And we're going to see some top-tier guys who can jump into the front of the ball, steal the ball as well. Passing is going to matter, efficient passing, and making sure you don't turn the ball over. We could see some swings in this game tonight. And you can listen to it on 1430 ESPN. Tonight it's 6:15 pregame with a 6:30 tip-off here on 1430. So stay tuned for that as our show will wrap up then. We're just getting started, though, and we have plenty of other things to talk about. We'll bring in our first guest of the day. From the Raw Athlete Program, Kaylee Stanziani is going to join us next. Stay with us behind the bench, just getting started here on 1430 ESPN Fresno, the Valley's local sports leader.
At Citizens Business Bank, we've been taking a personal approach to banking for over 40 years and are consistently recognized as one of the top performing banks in the nation. Hi, I'm Susan Woosner, Senior Vice President and Manager of Citizens Business Bank in Fresno. We believe in the importance of building long-lasting and genuine relationships with our customers. We want to provide you with the solutions you need to grow your business because your success is our success. Citizens Business Bank, member FDIC.
Life gets messy, but your space doesn't have to. We are Rise and Shine Janitorial and Commercial Cleaning Services, where we clean because your time is important. From offices to schools to medical facilities, Rise and Shine handles it all with our trained staff and high-performance standards. Big jobs or small, Rise and Shine will never lock you into a contract. So let us take the stress off your plate. Contact Rise and Shine Janitorial and Commercial Cleaning Services. Call 559-649-5391 or visit riseshine559.com.
For 80 years, years, Fresno Pacific University has been shaping the heart and soul of California as the Central Valley's only accredited Christian university. Today, our deep faith roots and pride in our community drive us to provide affordable, career-relevant education that transforms the lives of our students and the communities they serve. Discover your calling through over 100 undergraduate and graduate programs offered on campus or fully online. Fresno Pacific University. Learn more at fpu.edu.
Are you tired of waiting forever for your prescriptions? Grizzly Pharmacy is here to tame your healthcare needs. We fill most prescriptions in 15 minutes or less, always accepting new patients, and enjoy free delivery to your home or workplace in Fresno and Clovis. We accept all major insurance, including Medi-Cal, Blue Cross, and Optum Rx. For our Fresno location, please call 559-424-0423 or visit grizzlypharmacy.com for more information.
Craving big flavor? Head to Me and Ed's Victory Grill in Fresno. Bite into the legendary Victory Burger, dig into the fall-off-the-bone ribs, or share the ultimate Victory Platter with friends. From those legendary Me and Ed's pizzas to fresh salads, cold drinks, and a warm hometown vibe, every bite and sip is a win. Watch the game, catch up with friends, or bring the family. Me and Ed's Victory Grill in Granite Park, Fresno. Don't miss ESPN's Major Wager Monday Night Football every week. Come hungry, leave a champion. Victory tastes better here.
From the roar of Valley Children's Stadium to the heart of the Red Wave, Fresno State football ignites the Valley, and Precision Civil Engineering is proud to help power that momentum. Named 2024's best engineering firm by the Business Journal, Precision Civil Engineering delivers top-tier planning, surveying, and design building, the backbone of the Central Valley. Proud partners of Fresno State Athletics, because when the dogs rise, the Valley rises. Go Dogs! Visit precisioneng.net today.
Your Fresno State Bulldogs are fighting for that Mountain West Championship. There's nothing better than rooting for your Bulldogs as they battle it out on the gridiron, representing your city of Fresno. Bring the whole family and get loud cheering on your Bulldogs at Valley Children's Stadium all season long. Be sure to check out GoBulldogs.com today for information on special events and to grab your tickets for upcoming home games. Go Dogs!
Thursday Night Football is only on NFL Network.
It's going to be a dogfight.
We're here for a primetime showdown in the Lone Star State.
That's big time there.
Christian McCaffrey is ready to lead the Panthers to the next level.
Surgical precision.
But the Texans are looking to show out in front of the H-Town faithful.
Bang, touchdown.
Panthers, Texans. Week 3 starts here.
This guy can run.
Thursday Night Football. Thursday at 8, only on NFL Network.
ESPN Fresno, the Valley's local sports leader, as we're rolling in hour number 1, taking you all the way up to Laker basketball tonight. Pleased to be joined by our first guest of the day, Kaylee Stanziani. Got it right? Stanziani. I've been saying it wrong. Start the show, so hopefully I got it right. Stanziani from Raw Farm here, representing the Raw Athlete Program.
Yes.
Kaylee, good to have you in. How are you doing on this Wednesday?
Oh, we're about to have a lot of rain, so I got my rain jacket ordered on Amazon for all the football games this week.
It's going to be
I'm prepared.
Yeah, I know. We're prepared too. We got an interesting few days ahead of us with the weather and everything like that. So I got to get my raincoat out as well. But it's good to have you. Good to be here talking about the Raw Athlete Campaign. And I would, for the listeners who are not aware of what that is, first of all, tell us a little bit about the Raw Athlete Campaign and what it is, and maybe I always like starting from the beginning, where it all kind of started for you guys. What is the Raw Athlete Campaign for you guys from Raw Farms?
Well, it started as, in fact, I am a mom to a sophomore varsity football player. So I have been in the captain's chair trying to fuel my son and trying to give him the food he needs.
Yeah.
It is a very hard task when your son is a foodie because you're constantly feeding your athletes. And I had this summer mindset of fueling my son with the right food. And it dawned on me that there was like this contrast in the professional world. you get fed by the cafeteria system. They have their own cafeteria food working system. We were reached out by a major, let's just call it the Swiners, okay? The Swiners, not the whatever. I'll sit on words. They really wanted to have our products in their cafeteria for their athletes.
Yeah.
And I thought to myself, well, wow, what an opportunity. When that idea flourished and we kind of moved it around and massaged it, I had this epiphany thinking, gosh, these high school football players or hockey players or volleyball players or whatever athlete, they're putting their body through such torment to get to that level. And I had like this realization as a parent going, how are these high school kids making the quantum jump from when you see these professional athletes and they're being required to have clean eating, animal-based, lots of everything, right? Eating raw honey by the cup. And they're just trying to fuel their fitness and their performance, and it's being required. But the high school kids, they're all fueling on Dutch Bros, and they're not even understanding how to eat correctly, and they're getting injured. They're getting fatigued. I saw a kid, I think, throw up from dehydration one day, and I thought to myself, something's missing here. And then I had another layer to my memory. So it's kind of like twofold of personal experience and then history of memories. My brother was a high school varsity football player. And he told me the story a long time ago, back when he was kind of in the moment, that a Red Bull energy truck pulled up in those little tiny minis, the mini coupes, and they were just chucking over the fence line to one of their practices out in Kerman. Kerman is rural, okay? And back in the day, it was even more rural. Now we have Starbucks and Walmart. We're coming up. But back in the day, it was really, really surprising to see this little Red Bull energy drink company pulling up, tossing free drinks over the football players. And it made an impression in his mind going, wow, what a smart method to reach a new audience or a young audience. So those two ideas kind of came into play with memory thinking. How can you access a whole generation and unlock it, not just on social media, but also how can you fuel somebody? So with that, I created a ChatGPT message to ChatGPT. I said, ChatGPT, help me kind of make sense of all of these ideas. Love AI technology. And it actually created the idea of Raw Athlete. And I thought, okay, hold on. And it suggested get a bunch of ice chests, show up to their practices. It kind of gave me the guide of what I've been doing. So what I've been doing for the past, say, 6 months, I show up to football athlete practices or their weightlifting class or their team dinners. It depends on the coach. And this is all by coach's invitation. I show up. I have usually 170 courts or so, enough for every athlete and the coaches, and some left over for the linemen to take 3 or 4 home. That's usually how it goes. Love the linemen. And they fuel up, and it's either on a Tuesday or whatever, and they report back. They're like, whoa, hold on. And the epiphany happens. And my goal is that an athlete will think twice about maybe just grabbing Snickers and Twinkies and the things that maybe make sense to my profession, because I live and breathe healthy food all day long for my job, but maybe not so as you're a young kid. So, but that's also translated to the professional world. So the campaign is for anyone, I'm saying 14 or older, because I don't like to have to deal with about a bunch of parents, right? So that's a whole, youth sports is a whole other league. So high school and up, but I'm working with like San Diego University football. They want the Raw Athlete. So they want the ice chest brought to the university. So Cal Poly wrestling team. They're on my list. Been doing a lot more local because my son's schedule is insane. But
of course.
My goal is to get a national eventually, but statewide is my bigger goal now.
Well, there's a couple points I want to touch on from what you said there. And one of them, of course, you mentioned just the way the athletes are, in high school. You think you think about the schedule and sometimes when they just want to eat when they have the opportunity to and the quality of meal and the time of meal and whatever. It's not easy 3-course, 3 meals a day, whatever it is. Sometimes it's I got to just get what I get, and there's not a whole plan to it or anything like that. You talk about just forming it to that hectic schedule for the high school athlete that's out there, right? That is balancing schoolwork and social life and all that crazy stuff that comes with it.
Yeah, and a lot of the athletes I've talked to, they just want an opportunity. That really comes down to it. They already have the muscles. They already have the coach. They already have all of the key components, right? They're doing the drills, they're doing off-season work, they're putting in the time, and this can go for any sport. This is not just for football, even though we're in football season. This is a sports conversation, because once you get injured, game's over.
Yeah.
Literally, the tears come out, right?
Mm-hmm.
But to prevent an injury, there's a lot of things. Stretching is one of them. Hydration is one of them. But having actual bones that are not going to break because they're not fragile.
Yeah.
Having food that fuels your body isn't just a slogan. It's something that's a real mental practice. And then you also, it breaks my heart whenever I see these athletes that come off the field, they retire, and then they blow up. They don't know what to do because they don't know how to eat correctly. Maybe they were fed with that system. If they're part of, say Texas, whatever, has these amazing systems that fuel their athletes, and they just show up, right? They just get fed. But the minute they're on their own, they don't know the building blocks.
Yeah.
So that is a very big concept, a very big burger that I'm constantly eating, right, for my job. I do all the marketing for Raw Farm. I'm one of the owners. But that's where the idea came from.
You talk about, is it part of it for you? The mission is to just kind of educate these kids about it too, and make sure they are, putting the right stuff into themselves as far as the food is concerned, what it is, what it does, and then what kind of you mentioned it, the post.
You can tell a kid to eat an apple; it's not very eye opening. But if you tell a kid, "Hey, drink raw milk," they're gonna go, "I'm sorry, what?"
Yeah.
And so Raw Farm, we test our products. So we test for all the things you do not want to find in a raw dairy product. So it's a very safe whole food. For that mindset, for a high schooler, they've seen it on TikTok, they've seen it on Instagram, they've heard all about it, all these cool influencers are talking about it, but they've never had the opportunity to try it because maybe they've just been a little shy or a little bit bashful about it. And when I see them drinking it, they're like, their mind is blown, and they get sparkles in their eyes, and they realize it tastes great. It's a complete food. If you have to skip a meal, you can grab a quart of raw milk and be fueled. Like, it's a complete whole food. You don't have to have steak and raw milk. You can just have raw milk and get the protein you need.
Yeah.
So it's a pretty phenomenal source. So when I'm talking to these high schoolers, they're looking at you, and you can just kind of see the desperation in their eyes because they want to fulfill their dreams. And the food element is just lacking. It's a missing piece of talking to these athletes. They're young. It's happening at the collegiate level. It's happening on the professional level. That conversation's being had, but not at the high school level or at the little kids level in the youth sports.
Yeah.
When they're little, and I was talking to a volleyball training facility here in Clovis, and they were vocalizing how hard it is for coaches to get these kids to be in condition once they come off season, because they're just not eating correctly to help them transition. So my goal, I don't really have one. I'm just trying to do well, and I'm trying to do a good thing. It was kind of coming off of a kind spirit I was having at the moment. Yes, I want athletes to learn something that I've learned. I think that would be a great thing to pass on to this generation. If I've learned something, don't keep it to yourself. But it really has been a rewarding thing. They have given me more than I've given them. I've been really enjoying getting to know a lot of these athletes. There's a common thread with all of them. They're just hardworking kids.
Yeah, absolutely. And you can see the hard work, especially when you go to practices. And I want to know the feedback you get from some of them.
Oh,
we've had our student athletes of the week, and you've been involved in that with the team drops. And we tell the coaches, hey, they're coming to your practice. You just got to contact, which is you. You're the contact for that. And so what's the feedback you've heard from the campaign itself? Our student athlete of the week
well, there's
reaction
twofold.
to that? Yeah.
Kids love it, and they want to know where to find it. And I'm like, oh, go to Sprouts. However, the coaches, they're competitive.
Right.
They want to know if I'll snitch on other teams, which I would never. I don't tell them anything about the other team. They're like, hey, tell me the strategy, or hey, tell me if they have an injured player. I'm like, oh my gosh, you all are just gossipy. But I would never release any of that inside vault, because I am taking pictures and videos of these athletes in the behind the scenes, in the most critical, most vulnerable part. They don't want anyone knowing that stuff. And quite frankly, I even asked the coaches, what plays do you want to showcase, or what do you not want to showcase?
Right.
Is there a play that you're trying to keep a hidden? You don't want to have that, blue 42 shown, and I get that. But the other element is it's been kind of competitive for me. They want like the best video possible, and I'm not a videographer, but I do all of the content for social media, and most of it's vlogging style. These coaches, they step up their game, and they're putting the heat on me. They really want to have some really good content because they want to show off the players. These athletes do not get promotion. So what I've been doing is I've been tagging big companies, Nike, Igloo, Dick's Sporting Goods, Fresno State University, Fresno State football. I've been tagging whatever Under Armour, if Rydell, whatever, however you sell, let's say the helmet company, whatever gear they're wearing, whatever is in those videos, I'm tagging them as if they were an influencer themselves. And that type of exposure, I think, is just such a positive thing for these high school kids to remind themselves that they can dream big, you know? And it's not just and you're 18 and that last football gear or that last shoe you put on or the last time you put your point shoes on, you know? I would love for these kids to just have a little positivity. And some of the coaches, it's been heartbreaking. Some of them, they assume that I'm not excited to film their kids because maybe they don't think that their football team is like, I don't know. And I'm like, whoa, no, I'm excited to be here. And these kids, look at the sparkle in their eyes. They're so excited. And there's a camera to be on, you know, showing them off. And it's been exciting to see how that is. But yeah, the coaches have been really competitive. More than I expected. I even have coaches texting me, asking me like, can we do another one? Or can we do it again? Or I love this one. Can we do it like that? And not just one coach. I've got like 12 coaches asking me, when am I going to get my turn? And I'm like, I'm only one person. So,
right.
Yeah.
You only got one place you got the way to get there in terms of it. But no, it's great stuff in terms of that, but seeing some of the posting as well. And there's a lot of fun surrounding it as well and what you guys do. And what have been some of the surprises you would think from this overall campaign?
I don't know what I have never asked them to, but these boys want to put milk like on their heads and like pour raw milk on their heads. And it's so messy. And all I could think about is I hope those parents don't get mad at me for their gear smelling like our product.
Yeah.
But at the same time, these kids are having fun and they're doing backflips and they're like, hey, you know, Johnson, can you do a toe touch? And it's just really funny to see how the team just kind of brightens up. And at the end of the day, I'm out there filming for 1 to 3 hours, depending on, you know, which segment I was doing or what team. And every team's so different. Like when I was filming Kerman, they are a very intense team. They run their program like the NFL. They're very intense. So when their film came out, Coach Jenkins, he was like, hey, there was no funny elements. I'm like, because you don't run a funny program. You run a very strict
they're a good winning program for sure.
You know how to win. And I'm really impressed that you've taught these kids how to have a professional style practice. But then it's funny because you've got these D1 schools out here in Clovis and they're doing backflips. So there's really no formula, right? But it's just been incredible to have the privilege in the behind the scenes of these practices. And I get to educate some kids on what a whole food looks like and talk to them about avocados and apples and oranges and, you know, bananas and oh, by the way, choose raw honey, not fake honey, you know, avoid syrups. I don't know, like I can have a dialogue and it's been wonderful.
Well, you mentioned as well, you know, you've got the involvement not just from here in the local Central Valley, but you're getting interest from around the state as well, like you mentioned, and who knows how far this can kind of go for you guys, right? As you say, this is just getting started, and you sit there and think, well, this continues to grow, where it could go, and what it could become.
At this point, I'm the problem. It's what they say, like I'm the problem. I'm holding us back because I just don't have it in me to hire a bunch of people and replicate this. What I've created, because I've been a turnkey experience for everybody. I show up, I give the product, I coordinate with our creamery, I bring the ice chest, I have the athletes bring the ice chest out of my truck, I give them the stuff, I shoot the content, promote the content, post the content. So I'm kind of like a one-woman wonder. I'm a little intimidated about making this thing bigger because either that means I'm going to travel a lot or I'm going to hire out. So whoever's listening, if you want this gig, contact me.
Well, that's a good reason to contact. And I'm sure some coaches are out there who, you know, who wants to, if you want to get involved in the Raw Athlete program and what you do and want to have you guys come with a team drop and per se, like you've had. I know playoffs are still winding down. We got a couple more weeks of football, but you said this certainly going to be.
We're going into another season now. It's
basketball and
baseball
all
and
that,
wrestling
softball and all that,
track and whatever. And we've got cheerleading clubs that are year-round sports, volleyball year-round. If you want to participate, and the participation's free, so it's at no cost to your team, it's only benefit. You just go to our website, rawfarmusa.com, and there's a link. It's called the Raw Athlete. You just click it, and you submit the little formy form, and I get the form because I'm the one person wonder. And I then put you in a database, and I try to get to as soon as I can. But it's a little bit of a problem because I got about 1,000 people in pending.
Yeah.
And so at this point, and I've got now some major onesie twosies coming through saying, hey, I'm a UFC athlete. I want to be sponsored, but just start out with the Raw Athlete campaign. I'm like, whoa, hold on. We did that for Chito Vera.
Okay.
So Chito Vera has a huge UFC fight coming. He's on a cut. Super excited about his fight. He's a personal friend of mine, and he's like, hey, drop the product. So I've been dropping product to his house. So there's a lot of options here. There's a lot of flexibility to this burger, but I also have to have personal limits. And
certainly.
It's been a lot, especially since the mindset's been a giving mindset. It's just been a whole lot of giving.
Well,
so.
now it sounds like you just gotta get the people together, like you said, the people you need.
I'm the problem. I just need to get a team. A little mini version of me everywhere. That'd be great.
I think you got a compelling argument for sure.
Yeah.
Kaylee, anything else you want to say about this program or anything else? Or?
No, if there's anything I've learned is just athletes are phenomenal. They put the time in. There's this quote I heard about, if you ever want to hire someone, hire a student athlete because they know how to multitask, they know how to grind, they know how to dedicate. And I mean, I love my child being a mother, and I love my son, would do anything for him. I've basically met 1,000 of my sons. Yeah. And it's just so heartwarming, and it's just impossible not to just love this idea. Thanks, ChatGPT. Because honestly, it's just been a really pleasurable experience being around all these young athletes, just giving it their everything. And our product is tasty, and yay, that's great. And I'm really happy to gift them things, and the videos are fun to watch. But for me, I've just been really thankful and grateful to have the experience.
Well, we're thankful and grateful to have you here today to share the Raw Athlete program, and I wish you best of luck on the continued endeavors. And I'm going to be sending more athletes your way.
I have 1,000 resumes in my email.
I know.
It's really horrible.
I know. Well, Kaylee, I appreciate it as always, and thanks for sharing today.
Yeah, thanks for having me on.
Absolutely, Kaylee Stanziani of Raw Farms from the Raw Athlete program. We'll take a break. We'll continue the hour next on 1430 ESPN.
The long goodbye begins. A very special evening with Journey. Final Frontier Tour, Friday, April 24th, Save Mart Center. Journey. Tickets on sale Friday, November 14th at 10 a.m. at journeymusic.com. Your chance to say goodbye to the songs that changed our lives. Journey. Final Frontier Tour.
Citrus season is here, and once again, growers are choosing orange over blue because Kubota means less downtime, easier controls, and better value through the long harvest stretch. When you're racing weather, labor, and time, uptime matters, and Kubota delivers. So, turn to Pioneer Equipment, your authorized Kubota dealer, for the tractors and service they depend on. With Fresno and Reedley locations, Pioneer Equipment, your authorized Kubota dealer, is ready for you this season. Visit Pioneer Equipment, your authorized Kubota dealer, today. Online at pioneerequipmentca.com.
The deadline to receive the 30% federal solar tax credit is December 31st. That's the day your new solar system must be operational. The deadline to call Donald P. Dick is Friday, November 21st. A new solar system starts at under $10,000. Donald P. Dick will provide a proposal with all the details for you to make an informed decision. Let Mr. Cool show you how to drive down the cost of home energy. Call 559-255-1644 for Donald P. Dick.
Fresno County is filled with talent, but opportunity doesn't always reach every student. The foundation at FCOE is just $100,000 away from reaching our $1 million endowment for excellence. This fund safeguards life-changing programs, from academic decathlon and career expos to arts, leadership, and college readiness, ensuring opportunities for students now and for generations to come. Join us. Every gift builds tomorrow. Visit fcoefoundation.org/raise to 1 million.
At Helena Agri-Enterprises, we're committed to helping you make the best agronomic decisions for your farm. That's why we combine cutting-edge technology with superior product. Helena's agri-intelligence solutions use in-depth analysis to identify potential problems in the field before they take root. Combined with a complete line of high-quality crop production and crop protection inputs, Helena has the tools to help you increase productivity, enhance performance, and maximize your return on investment. Contact your local Helena representative or authorized dealer to create the right plan for your farm with Helena products and agri-intelligence solutions.
There's no such thing as an off-season. When the days get shorter and the fields aren't up to par, it's time to train smarter at Elite Performance Center in Clovis. This full-service indoor facility has batting cages, drills, clinics, and one-on-one lessons with elite coaches, former D1 athletes, MLB vets, and even Fresno State softball players. Whether it's a single lane, a private lesson, or the whole 6-cage facility, Elite Performance Center is here for individuals, groups, and teams. Find Elite on Barstow, just east of Clovis Avenue, or online at ElitePerformanceCenterCA.com. Elite Performance Center. Train like the elite.
Mike Dermanuel Jr. of Hub International Insurance Group.
People that have homes, this is their most significant asset, and our job is to protect the assets and to give impartial and good advice. I think our growth reflects the amount of trust people have in us.
Hub International. Learn more at hubinternational.com. License number 0757776.
If our clients succeed, we succeed. And I think that's what we work on every day.
This November, keep your vibes high and your wallet happy at Valley Pure Dispensaries. We've got fire flower, tasty edibles, and concentrates that make every sesh a celebration. And all November long, the savings are smoking. Join us Saturday, November 15th at Valley with food trucks, a live DJ from 4 to 7, and massive deals like BOGO Stizzy Vapes, 50% off Dabwoods, and exclusive giveaways. And don't forget, all 5 Valley Pure locations are open on Thanksgiving. Stay lifted, stay thankful, stay Valley Pure.
All right, welcome back to Behind the Bench here on 1430 ESPN Fresno, the Valley's local sports leader. Big thanks to Kaylee Stanziani for joining us in the last segment, Raw Athlete Program. You can contact them over at rawfarmsusa.com, so be sure to check them out. All right, let's finish this hour here, and then we're going to bring in Gabe Camarillo next in the next hour here, talking a lot of Fresno State in that next hour. Did want to touch on some news items here from San Francisco 49ers and what they've got cooking in terms of their practicing availability, which some movement on some news we have been kind of waiting for if you're a Niners fan in terms of, are we going to see some of the star players that we have had hopes of seeing this season in what has been, a lot of injury murkiness surrounding especially the offensive side. Very, very clearly defined injuries on the defensive side, I'll tell you. We know when people were injured on the defensive side. Offensive side, though, it's been pretty murky.
Defined in stone.
Yes, we know when they were out for good. But it appears Ricky Pearsall practicing for the first time and was a limited participant with his knee injury. Brock Purdy, limited participation. Did not miss practice. He is also limited in participation. I actually have a Niners injury report in front of me here in terms of it. Other limited participants in practice today. D. Winters and Alfred Collins also limited. I love that Trent Williams and Christian McCaffrey are just, we're resting, guys. You don't need to practice. You're good enough.
They've had their veteran days for I think the last 2 years now.
Yeah, I think of Brady when he was questionable with the shoulder every week back in the mid 2000s. It was kind of a funny thing you would see on the injury report. It was so it was probable with a shoulder every single week. Tom Brady had a probable with a shoulder on the injury report in terms of the situation. Anyways, I digress. Tanvir, if you're a betting man, are you betting yes or no on Ricky Pearsall and Brock Purdy playing in Arizona on Sunday?
I think Brock Purdy plays. I do not think Ricky Pearsall plays.
Okay.
I think because I think the thing with Purdy is that he has been he's been recovering for the last couple of weeks, and it feels like it's been a situation where if Brock had to play, he would have played. But due to Mac Jones being able to play as well as he has, they've kept him in there just to have Purdy come back at 100%. With Ricky Pearsall, I think it's a knee injury, and I think that he's still in progress of trying to return. I would be shocked if Ricky Pearsall plays this week, but Purdy, I'd give it like a 70%, 60% chance, but they might keep him out just because they feel like this is a game that they can win with Mac Jones, so you never know.
Yeah, I'm interested in what the tenor of what this game is going to mean in terms of where the 49ers, the Niners need to win this, and we kind of went through this from the perspective of what is the path for the 49ers. Is 10 wins enough? Is it 11? What's the number at the end of the season that feels like you can win? I think the tricky thing is that because the Packers have the tie, you can't necessarily tie the Packers or be in the same spot as the Packers in the standings. The Packers are either ahead of you or behind you, dependent on it. And I feel like the Packers can be a 10-6-1 group based off of what they've shown so far this season. And that is a problem for the 49ers if they want to make this playoff run. Of course, the Bears sit there at what, 7-3 right now? Are they 6-3? They're 6-3. They've already had their they've already had their bye, and the Bears are a team that has what the Niners are on the schedule. So this is a game the Niners are necessarily controlling their own destiny with the Bears in terms of that. In terms of the reps and the ramp up for Brock Purdy, it feels like, I'm not totally scared of what the Cardinals present on defense in order of this could be a get right, feel good, get in the rhythm kind of game. Brock has played, I think, 2 significantly tough defenses this year in the 2 games he's played, all things considering and where they were playing and the caliber of it, in terms of the Seahawks, who is a top-tier defense in this National Football League, and then I'll say the Jaguars in terms of where they were through the first 4 weeks, which was, I think, a very hot defense.
And healthy.
And healthy defense through the first 4 weeks as well. So to evaluate Brock potentially against a Cardinals defense that I say necessarily pretty much struggles against decent offenses out there, and I would argue the Niners are a decent offense, an offense that's able to move the football. I would argue this is a good game to get him right in terms of it. I know Carolina looms, and I don't feel like I have a total really good idea of what Carolina has been defensively. I think they've been all right defensively the last couple of weeks. I think Carolina's been coming up a little bit. We'll see what they do against Atlanta. But this is kind of your stretch before you ramp up against what I would say is a Browns team that could cause some sort of havoc defensively, and you want Brock to be in the full game speed by then. So I think starting here and having 2 games to feel somewhat okay about and in the game speed and ramping up to it, to me, that's important ahead of the Browns game, to the bye, to the Titans game where you could feel like you could get into the rhythm again before you have that 3-game stretch against Colts, Bears, Seahawks. That's how I would map it out. I think it's imperative, actually, if you want to get Brock into the speed of playing football again, this is a game that feels like it's one that he should be playing in this one.
I agree. I think that these are the 2 defenses that you're going to play that can allow Brock Purdy to kind of get back into the rhythm of things. And then, as you said, Cleveland is the game that is defense that is probably a top 3 defense in the NFL right now.
Yeah.
And so, Brock Purdy, I think that if he does play this week, I think we'll see a good game out of him. Especially, I know that the Cardinals are missing they missed cornerbacks Will Johnson and
billion
Max
guys
Melton
on their injury report.
Yeah.
If you see their injury report, they've got a bunch of guys gone.
Right. And so Max Melton and Will Johnson both being on the injury report last week, if they are out again, I think you could see the passing game, which has been the one bright spot for this 49ers team. The 49ers passing offense is in the upper third of the league this year. And I think that you could see a really good performance out of Brock Purdy if he were to start. And honestly, if Mac Jones were to start, I honestly think you would see a pretty good performance out of Mac Jones too. It's just going to be a matter of which Cardinals team are we truly going to see.
Max Melton, limited participant with the concussion. Will Johnson did not participate with the back and hip injury today.
And they're already down Marvin Harrison Jr.,
Yeah, with the injury, he said appendicitis. Appendicitis, I heard. I heard this from our coworker Nico, who literally just traded for the guy.
Oh, that's so
in
tough.
fantasy, and he gets dinged with the appendicitis. potentially. Yeah. As for Pearsall, he just needs to be right 100%. I would rather save him and be the guy who has, because when Ayuk starts ramping up, which I think we see Ayuk potentially Indy.
It's
like, are we looking Tennessee Indy territory for Ayuk?
My personal feeling coming into this
Are we
season,
ever going to see Ayuk this season?
That's what I'm afraid of.
Yeah.
I, coming into this season, thought that Ayuk could probably come back by around week 10. I know a lot of people said week like 5, 6, and I honestly thought that was a little too early. I was thinking maybe week 10 and 11 would be the time frame that we would probably see him.
Mm-hmm.
We're still not seeing him. I've seen him practice.
They're not opening the practice window just yet. Yeah,
and I don't know what they're waiting for. I feel like, obviously, if Ayuk's not 100%, Ayuk's not 100%. And that was a horrific injury that he had. So I'm hopeful that he would come back over these next couple of games. But we'll see. We'll see how much longer he's out for. But Pearsall said he had a little bit of instability with his knee, and that's especially in that Jacksonville game. So that's something you got to monitor really well. And so we'll see if he comes back. I honestly think he'll come back next week, though.
Yeah, next week, again, especially on a longer stretch after that, right? They get an extra day with the Monday night game to then turn against that Cleveland game with a day earlier than that. So important stretch for sure. But the Niner injury sides maybe pointing in the good direction for the first time this year. All right, let's take a break. Hour number 2 coming up next on 1430 ESPN.
Quick, where can you find a great selection of Tempur-Pedic, Stearns & Foster, Serta, and Mattress First bedding? Easy. The same place you'll find adjustable beds, sheets, pillows, mattress protectors, and more. Sleep Retreat, inside fashion furniture. It's worth the time to walk through and imagine what your home could look like with beautiful new furniture. Or how comfortable you'll be on your new mattress. Fashion Furniture on El Paso, across from River Park. There's nothing like it in all of California.
Fresno, get ready for the flavor you didn't know you were missing. Chopped Cheese Bodega on the northwest corner of Blackstone and Bullard in Fresno, next to the 7-Eleven, is now open and serving up the East Coast classic right here in the Central Valley. From loaded chopped cheese sandwiches to crispy fries and house-made sauces, this is not your average deli. Follow at Chopped Cheese Fresno on Instagram to see the full menu. Real meat, real cheese, real good. Chopped Cheese, Bullard and Blackstone in Fresno.
Are you a business owner struggling to understand how cloud technology can help your business? Are you in need of computer and technology support for your employees? M-Cubed Technologies is your solution for fully managed IT services. 24 hours a day, 365 days a year. M-Cubed will be your partner in the digital world, allowing your business to carry on worry-free. We specialize in cloud hosting, Microsoft 365 management, general IT support, and VoIP phone services. Call M-Cubed Technologies today to discuss our partnerships.
At FFB, we know behind every business is a person. That's why we're more than a bank. We're a partner, a farming-focused bank for hard workers, a future-forward bank for big dreamers, and a family-friendly bank for the next generation of owners. From first ideas to major milestones, we're here to help you chase your goals and score big. So what can FFB mean for your business? Find out at ffb.bank. That's ffb.bank. FFB Bank. Let's win together.
Welcome to Banyan Tree, Fresno's favorite dispensary. Voted 2025's Best of Central California's People's Choice Award. Need some healing and relaxation? From flower to edibles, concentrate to vapes, we've got top shelf products at down-to-earth prices. Whether you're a seasoned smoker or just kinda curious, our knowledgeable staff will help you find your perfect match. So climb the Banyan Tree and see how high you can get today. Order ahead at banyantreefresno.com for quick and easy pickup. Banyan Tree, rooted in quality, grown in Fresno.
Fall is here, and it's time to get moving at Valley Athletics. Phil Bonatti from Behind the Bench telling you about new programs coming up. Starting soon, you can sign up for monthly memberships for K through 8th graders, working on volleyball, basketball, and strength and agility. It's as little as $15 per class. Speaking of sign-ups, the great facilities there are always available for rentals, including birthday parties. So take advantage of that today, especially as we get to those colder months. You can find all the sign-up information on the website, valleyathletics.co. Valley Athletics, developing the athlete in everyone.
Strong company culture doesn't happen by accident. It starts with well-trained managers who know how to lead with purpose. The Sandler Management Accelerated Program is a 10-week course that gives your leaders a clear roadmap to management success. They'll learn how to manage, develop, and retain your most valuable resource, your people. The next cohort starts Thursday, November 20th. Learn more at Sandler.com. That's Sandler.com.
Here's a tip from All American Glass, Fresno's go-to since 1990.
Hey, it's Isaac with All American Glass. When it's time to replace your windshield, here are 3 things to keep in mind. First, try to choose a shop that's a registered member of the Auto Glass Safety Council. Second, make sure the technicians working on your vehicle are knowledgeable and certified. And third, if your vehicle is equipped with advanced driving assistance systems, make sure a successful recalibration of the forward-facing camera is performed after the installation. These are some of the reasons you can count on All American Glass. And remember, we treat your car like family.
Get a free quote today at aagfresno.com.
You're listening to the home of the San Francisco Giants, KFIG Fresno, 1430 ESPN.
I'm Christine Lisi. Mavericks power forward Anthony Davis will miss a 7th straight game tonight with a calf strain. He won't return to play until getting the okay from Mavs Governor Patrick Dumont. There's concern about Davis suffering a potentially catastrophic injury if the strain is not completely healed, like what happened with Indiana's Tyrese Halliburton. He ruptured his Achilles in Game 7 of the NBA Finals. Milwaukee power forward Giannis Antetokounmpo knee issue will not play tonight against the Hornets. Grizzlies point guard Ja Morant won't play in Boston due to ankle soreness. Clippers guard Bradley Beal will undergo season-ending hip surgery. LeBron James, assigned to the Lakers G League affiliate, participated in a full practice today for the first time this season as he makes his way back from sciatica. ESPN NBA insider Shams Charania.
Sources told me this afternoon that LeBron James looked great, felt great as he went through that practice. He moved well, and he didn't show signs of any issues as he's worked through this nerve issue on his right side. My understanding right now is that LeBron James is motivated and eager to get back out on the court, potentially here mid to late this month.
Lakers Thunder tonight, 9:30 Eastern on ESPN. NFL Ravens quarterback Lamar Jackson did not practice today because of knee soreness. It isn't related to the hamstring issue that sidelined Jackson for 3 games earlier this season. Baltimore has won 3 in a row since his return from the hamstring and is a game back of AFC North leading Pittsburgh. Packers coach Matt LaFleur's got no plans to give up play calling duties, but says he will continue to search for ways to spark the offense that scored 20 points in back-to-back losses.
Hey, it's Michelle Smallman, and coming up Thursday, the Broncos are 8-2, but they're underdogs against the Chiefs. I'll tell you why the winner of this game will win the division. It's on Sportsman, like 6 a.m. Eastern, right here on ESPN Radio, ESPN2, and ESPNU.
He's got the knowledge.
Because once again, I have to come on there and talk about how right I am once again. In anything that it comes to sports.
He's got the questions.
I'm going to lose it. Are you kidding me? What are we doing here?
He's got the guests.
20th head coach in Fresno State history here, Matt. Is it hard to believe sometimes still, the 20th head coach here in program history?
It's all moved really quickly here over the course of the last 5-6 weeks, but super excited to be here.
Phil Bonatti is the voice for the Central Valley sports leader. Behind the Bench starts now. Brought to you by Helena Agri.
That's right. Hour number 2 here on 1430 ESPN Fresno. Behind the Bench here on this November 12th. It is the calm before the rainstorm that's going to be killing our Central Valley here for the next week or so. It's going to be interesting to see what it affects in terms of football, in terms of everything around this area. And, we're prepared for it. We're ready to forecast some maybe potential sunny skies in different ways for this Fresno State team. We'll see. We'll talk about it here at Fresno State program, and no better authority on it to talk about it with than Gabe Camarillo. We're doing the show trade like we did. I came on your program last minute on Sunday. It was great to be there and talking all the great things, including both basketball and football. And now you come on here on this Wednesday. Gabe, how are you doing on your off day here?
Doing great. Yeah, I'm off day. Got my smog check done and being productive today.
Important to get your smog checked, people. Reminder, get your smog checked out there. Anyways, Gabe, good to have you in. And
thanks for having me.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to kind of we'll start with we'll go to Fresno State football here in a little bit, but I think the more pressing conversation right now. I had Coach Q on. We talked Fresno State basketball. There's some things to take apart from the first week of play. They play tonight against UC San Diego, the team that went to a tournament last year.
Yeah.
I would say, is that relevant? Maybe not, considering everything surrounding what left that program. But who knows?
Yeah, I think both teams look so different tonight on the court than they did last year on the court for Fresno State and UC San Diego.
Now, the start of this season, you were there for the media availability with Coach Wahlberg, and he shared, of course, the injury situation with one of the top players. He felt like, I think he told me that he thought that was the second best player on this roster.
Yeah, David Douglas Jr.
Yeah, and there was the other guy from France, I think they lost as well. The name escapes me. But
Zulemi, Nathan Zulemi.
Yes. And I wonder if we're feeling like there's missing guys already at the top of this season so far from a standpoint of where we're watching this roster. Do you feel that? You've been to a game. I don't know if you've been to both games.
I've been to all three.
All three.
And I feel like they could have beaten USC Upstate with the guys they had on the floor. It didn't matter.
Yeah.
It wasn't because they were missing one or two guys that they lost to USC Upstate.
Yeah.
They missed 10 layups, 7 free throws. They lose by 1. So it's very obvious. And Coach Wahlberg said it himself. They gave that game away, and you cannot give games away at this level of college basketball. So at least they bounced back with a 20-point win on Saturday over Long Beach State. I'm going to be honest. I wasn't impressed with Long Beach State.
Mm-hmm.
Not a good outfit. At least Fresno State is not the worst basketball team in California. And they could beat they could beat UC San Diego tonight. They could totally beat the Tritons because this is such a different team. Don't talk about the 30 wins last year. Eric Olin's at New Mexico. He took some of his better players with him to New Mexico, and there's also other former Tritons either scattered around college basketball or they're out of college basketball. So this UCSD team, not the same team, not even close to it. And they're 2 wins this year.
Yeah,
I heard they're Houston Christian and Laverne.
Yeah, do you know where Laverne College is at all?
No.
Any remote idea where Laverne?
L.A. maybe?
Is it L.A. Verne? Is that what we're?
That's what I'm guessing.
It is.
Sounds like a restaurant in L.A.
It is in Laverne, California, wherever that is, like Ontario area potentially.
You could have told me Laverne is like this new spot to go to for steak and ribs in Fresno, and I would have believed
it was like some school in Nebraska, but no, it's somewhere right outside of Ontario. So there you go.
So Fresno State has better wins. But that's not saying much, right? Fresno Pacific, Long Beach State, I think those are better wins than Laverne and Houston Christian.
Fresno Pacific picked second in the pack.
I know. And I was impressed with how Fresno State was able to overcome some early adversity in that Fresno Pacific game. They got a big early. It was 19-2, and then Fresno Pacific went on a run. And then the Bulldogs put it away with the freshman Deshaun Gorey making some big buckets in the second half. In the USC Upstate game was the opposite. Fresno State got up to a big lead, 11 at halftime, and then they just couldn't shoot the basketball. And that reminds me a lot of past Bulldog basketball teams that would just go so cold from beyond the arc, and it would sink the team so badly. And I feel like Wahlberg told us before the season, this is going to be a better shooting team. This is going to be a better shooting team. This is going to be a better team overall. It has to be, right? For his sake and for a lot of the fans' sake who can't stand watching bad basketball anymore at Fresno State. Well, I'm glad that they came back and won by 20 over Long Beach State. It wasn't even close. It was a no-doubter after the second half. Bulldogs finally hit their shots. I feel like this team's going to be hot and cold this year, though.
Yeah, we've had the highs, we've had the lows, and now we have a game that I think can really dictate what we can feel about this group. I'm not saying we are predicting any sort of high finish in the Mountain West. It's a team that got to show competitiveness, especially you need forward momentum going into the Pac-12. But Coach Q said something very interesting yesterday. He said there is no rebuild in college basketball. It is what you have and what you do with it in terms of year-by-year basis based off of just simply how the nature of college basketball works. So
if there's great players on Fresno State's team, if the Bulldogs cannot afford to keep them, literally cannot afford to keep them, then they'll play for a better team or another team.
So how do you my number one question with this program is how do you get it to that height at some point when you know it's not a progressive sport anymore? It's not a sport where you're building program, basically. But eventually you got to find a way to get up there, right? Is it just you are where you are because of the nature of it? Or how do you get to that side? Is it just investment from fans?
I think it's tradition.
It's tradition, yeah.
Utah State traditionally is a great basketball school, going back to when they had Ty Wesley and Craig Smith was the head coach. Also, after Ty Wesley was the WAC Player of the Year. Going back to the WAC, Utah State was a great basketball program. San Diego State, obviously, with Steve Fisher, they set the standard. And so those schools, they do get pillaged. I mean, Lamont Butler, the Final Four hero for San Diego State, goes to Kentucky after it's all said and done. And Utah State loses, I think, their head coach and their best player to Washington a couple years ago.
Yeah.
But then they come back and reload, like you're talking about, and still go to the NCAA tournament last year. How does Fresno State get to that kind of program where they're able to lose good players but get more in the portal?
Just reset.
You got to win.
Yeah.
You got to win. You got to have a program that kids want to go to because, I mean, in California, you have so many options in basketball. You got St. Mary's. You got San Francisco. Santa Clara just beat Xavier.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a great win for Santa Clara. San Diego State's in the state. Fresno State, where do they rank among California basketball schools? 10th, 11th?
Yeah, it's low.
In football, they're number 2 or number 3, right? I mean,
yeah.
If you're a West Coast football player who wants to stay on the West Coast, you don't want to travel to Indiana and Iowa and Rutgers during conference play, then you want to play for San Diego State or Fresno State if you're a West Coast football player looking to stay home and not, and if you can't play for USC, UCLA, then you're going to go to Fresno State.
Yeah. So is it about just showing that your system can work, you get the most out of what you have, and players will recognize, oh, he's getting the most out of guys as a coaching staff, and then that feeds into, okay, better players are more encouraged to come in because you saw the most potential out of certain players. Like if you get the most out of some of the guys who are on this roster right now, like some of the international unknown guys, like a Wilson Jocks who comes in and is doing what he's been doing, which has been serviceable. I don't know if it's been lights out in terms of it. But
why did Fresno State have to settle for unproven international guys?
Yeah.
It's because they can't get the guys that St. Mary's gets, that San Diego State gets, that Santa Clara and San Francisco get. Like, there are better basketball programs than Fresno State, and there are multiple than Fresno State in California. And it's not the same in football. And football has a tradition of winning, a tradition of sending guys to the pros. The last pro to make it out of Fresno State, besides Paul George, Orlando Robinson.
Yeah.
I know Tyler Johnson made it.
Yeah.
That's 3. Paul Watson had a career in the NBA. That's 4.
Yeah, he was on the Raptors for a hot sec.
Right. That's 4. And if I'm forgetting anybody, I'm sorry. But that's 4 guys in the last 20 years.
Yeah.
I mean, Fresno State had 4 guys make it to the NFL in the last 5 years, right? With Evan Williams, Nico Remigio, actually more than 5 guys I can mention right now. Deron Bland, Hayner.
Yeah.
Yeah. Aaron Mosby. Like, there's this...
Sims.
And the list goes on. So, like, football has an ability to send guys to the pros that basketball doesn't. It doesn't have to compete with more California schools in recruiting. That's why football gets all of the top players that it wants more often than not. And basketball struggles to fill a roster, and they have to go get international guys.
Well, also because think about the effectiveness of what you have to hit in basketball because your roster's 15 guys. In football, you have 70-something guys to, it masks some of the inefficiencies in your roster building. I think in terms of football, you are afforded that because maybe a guy is a little bit better on the depth chart and they move up and get the opportunity. In basketball, I mean, if you screw that up, like, where do you go?
Also, think about where they play. Like, the football team plays in a sold-out Valley Children's Stadium every time they have a home game. Almost sold out, or it is sold out. Basketball, I mean, there's 1,000 people there.
Yeah.
1,000 people in a 15,000-seat arena?
It was brutal watching Wednesday, and it was like, 22 was announced?
2,200 was announced. I was there.
I was one of them. And I saw sections empty.
Right.
Sections empty.
And kids want to play in front of packed-out gyms.
Yeah.
That's why I think the Sound Arena move later this month could be something that would be beneficial to Fresno State to do more moving forward.
What? Do we actually see young people go down to that game on the 30th?
I think they do, just to see something different.
Like, do we actually get the kids, the students down there? Do we see the young people move down there?
Okay, that's different. Once you said students, it clicked on my head. Like, okay, wait a minute. They don't even go to the games at Save Mart Center, and that's on campus.
I know, and that's the importance of what's going on the 30th, right? Like, they want to get the juice there for the students. how big was our student section last Wednesday when I was there? I think it was one kid.
That was a great question you asked Classy at that Sound Arena press conference. You asked him, how do you get the students to come to the game?
It's about the young people. It's about, because where was it when it was at Selland last time? It was the young people causing it was impossible even for students to get to the game. It was the young people in Fresno in the 80s and 70s and 90s, whatever it was, when it was all going on down there, that made the chaotic Grants Tomb atmosphere that it was, the Tarkanian, mayhem that it was in there. The crowd's older now, cares about this thing. It's going to be like a Chamber of Commerce sort of Sunday because those people are older.
I think it depends on the record. Let's be honest. If they're winning, a lot of people will go. Yeah. If they are coming on a losing streak and they don't look like they're going to be better than last year, then I think that'll affect attendance.
I just want to be proven. That's my biggest worry. I want to be proven. Do young people care about the Fresno State basketball team here? And that's what as much as they care about the Fresno State football team and what it is, that's what's important. Where's the youthful crowd that wants to go to a basketball game, hang out, have fun? I don't see it. I see longtime, old, no offense, older fans that are out there because they're lifers.
I think you need a draw. So if it's not going to be a winning product, because it hasn't been for a few years now. I mean, I think you have to have like a player that people want to go watch. Yeah. And I'm not sure this team has that. Like Zion Collins is a fun player to watch. Like I have a good time watching him bring it up the court and kind of read a defense. And he has this Allen Iverson type ability of just pulling up and hitting a jump shot mid-range or getting to the rim strong. I wish he would do more of that sometimes. I think he is probably the one guy that I could point to and say, all right, I think he could bring fans to the crowd just because he's fun to watch. Jake Highbreeder can shoot the lights out, don't get me wrong. But I think you have to be that presence that Zion has of, I'm the point guard. I'm the guy who you're going to want to give the ball to in the final 3 minutes. Well, I wish he would be more aggressive in that kind of situation.
You need guys a little more physical, a little more ability to high fly and show some things. Like, I'll tell you what, I like what DJ Stickman's been doing.
Yeah, as a freshman?
As a freshman, I think there's potential there. He can really grow into his own in this team, and maybe he is the exhilarator of a player. Like, I'll go to Tanvir because I want to ask you, because you're kind of in that age range of people who are interested in, you think about what sporting events you go to and what you want to watch and what interests you. And, hey, I want to go out to watch a basketball game. What are the draws? What draws you to go into a sporting event? And obviously, I know Fresno State basketball. I don't know how many Fresno State basketball games you've been in your life. There you go.
You had zero.
Just flashed up zero.
I'm sorry, but I agree with what he said. You got to win. And I think once you are able to create a winning program, then that's when you go completely all in. You got to pump in the NIL money, be able to go after transfers in this transfer portal. I think that's always going to have to be something that they go after. But also creating a culture of anything, of winning, of having great fans. I always go to Texas Tech and how Texas Tech was a terrible program before they brought in their new head coach, and now they're a perennial Final Four team, and that's kind of just how you're going to have to bring it up. It's going to have to be through wins, and it's going to be through the student culture and bringing in new fans from across the Central Valley.
When I'm told though, it's like you got to bring the wins. To me, I think, well, the wins bring the culture, but the culture brings the wins because the culture brings the good players in to win. It's like chicken and egg to me.
Yeah.
Like, where does it come from?
Well, we don't have the chicken, we don't have the egg.
We literally we have no farm. Even though we're the ag school, it's just, I don't know what it is. I don't know where it starts.
Would you go to a Fresno State game if you knew an NBA player was going to be there? Like last year when Donovan Dent and New Mexico came to Fresno State, I really wanted to go because I know Donovan Dent's going to be a lottery pick in this upcoming 2026 draft. Would you go if Fresno State had an NBA player?
That's where it comes in. You got to find different ways to do it, and I agree with you. I think also scheduling is another thing. Bringing teams to Central Valley is a difficult task to do, and I think
don't get me wrong, Gonzaga when they come in here next year, that game will be
5,000 plus.
People will be
maybe
there.
more than that.
It'll be the most packed game I'll see in 10 years.
And so as much as you're maybe scared of the result at that point, I think that's where you can start bringing other spaces of people that are coming into this game. I think having better competition in Fresno is another way that you can bring a lot of fans into Save Mart Center.
Yeah. Dogs got to win tonight. We're talking about winning culture. If we're going to go real simple on it, yeah, a win tonight would certainly change the atmosphere on it. And there's a lot of things moving with this program, but I don't want to harp on it too crazy much in terms of it. But
if they just had a face, like Murph Gray brought guys to baseball games because Murph Gray was a star and a future big leaguer. If they had someone like that at Fresno State basketball, I think that would help make up for the fact that they don't win as much anymore.
And right now it's Zion Collins, who's the most tenured guy, but we know Zion was in the new. Like, no offense to him, he was kind of cleared from all of that, but people see that conversation and what he was kind of involved with the betting stuff and all the other stuff that came in with it. It's hard to get behind a guy like that, even though I think he's a good dude. I've talked to him personally. I think he's figuring it out as he goes.
Well, he's probably the face of Fresno State Athletics. Who's the most recognizable athlete that you can grab someone on the street and say, tell me a Fresno State athlete right now? It used to be Murph Gray, I think. I think he was the face of Fresno State Athletics. Before that, maybe Mikey Keene or Jay Kaner. Could you tell me, like, who the face of Fresno State Athletics is right now on the men's side?
No.
I can't. So is it Zion Collins?
I think it has to be. I mean, Zion cut his hair, so it's different now.
Is there a football player that you could say, like, a guy on the street would recognize?
I could say Corey Foreman could.
Corey Foreman?
I don't know. Maybe I just like Corey Foreman. Maybe that's just me.
I don't know. Tammy, name a Fresno State athlete who you could recognize on the street.
I've always been attracted to Rayshon Luke in terms of what he brings to the table.
He's probably like number 2 right there with Zion.
So that's
Cam
the
Braca?
one player.
Cam Braca.
People know what Cam Braca
People
looks
know
like.
of him because he's from Clovis.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So that's my. I mean, I
talking
think
about his safety.
Ultimately, what Fresno State has to do, they got to do something they have not done in years, and that has to be internally something that they bring together in terms of performance. I don't see a way where this team gradually brings something into this program. It's got to be something that they haven't done in a while.
You got to strike
That's
lightning.
a Mountain West championship. Yeah. Exactly. If it's a Mountain West championship, getting into March Madness and then capitalizing off of that is a way that they can do it. But yeah, it's got to be something you have not seen a Fresno State basketball team do in a while.
Yeah, I don't know. We'll see. There's a lot of we're a week in. We're 2-1. The Bulldogs are 2-1 right now, and there's plenty to go. They got plenty of home games, so the fans will have plenty of time to see what they look like in terms of it. Just no egg tonight. All right, we got to take a break, and we're going to talk more football. We're alluding to it. So stay with us. We're continuing this second hour next on 1430 ESPN Fresno, the Valley's local sports leader.
Hey, Fresno and Clovis sports fans, if you're near the Fresno State area, check out Ichi Shabu at Campus Point, right next to Maya Cinemas. It's modern shabu-shabu Japanese hot pot where you cook fresh meats and seafood right at your table in rich, flavorful broth. It's a fun way to eat and a great spot to relax before or after the game. And for all ESPN listeners, you'll get 10% off your bill when you use promo code ESPN10, valid now through November 30th. Ichi Shabu at Campus Point. Good food, good friends, and a new way to enjoy hot pot.
Football fans, it's Phil Bonatti with Behind the Bench. The season is heating up, so bring your tailgate to mid-season form with Grocery Outlet in Kerman, Sanger, and Fresno's Southeast, Downtown, and Northwest stores. Stock up and save big on quality meats, snacks, drinks, beer, and wine. The same great quality, but always at lower prices. And while you're there, enter the Tailgate Ready contest to win 2 tickets to the next Fresno State home game, plus $100 for your tailgate. Only at Kerman, Sanger, and Fresno's Southeast, Downtown, and Northwest Grocery Outlets.
Life gets messy, but your space doesn't have to. We are Rise and Shine Janitorial and Commercial Cleaning Services, where we clean because your time is important. From offices to schools to medical facilities, Rise and Shine handles it all with our trained staff and high-performance standards. Big jobs or small, Rise and Shine will never lock you into a contract. So let us take the stress off your plate. Contact Rise and Shine Janitorial and Commercial Cleaning Services. Call 559-649-5391 or visit riseshine559.com.
Are you an athlete ready to level up your performance the raw way? Introducing the Raw Athlete Program from Raw Farm. High schoolers, gym warriors, and pros. Submit now to join and get a free raw milk drop and protein powder for recovery drinks. 100% A2A2 cream top whole raw milk from seasonally grass-grazed cows, non-GMO, certified humane, and crafted for serious gains. Perform like a raw athlete. Visit rawfarmusa.com to submit today. Find it at your local Sprouts location.
I'm here at the Roger Dunn Open. Former Fresno State football coach Pat Hill is at the first tee.
Hey, it's a fairway hit.
Yeah, but that's the wrong fairway, Coach.
I need to buy a golf game.
Coach, I really think you need a Roger Dunn makeover.
When you buy a game at Roger Dunn, you can play anybody, anytime, anywhere. This is the old coach, Pat Hill. I bought this 7-iron at Roger Dunn Golf. Number 8 at Tehama, 162 yards out. Eagle, baby!
There's only one. West Coast? West Coast Exhaust and Off-Road. Hey folks, Steve Johnson here from West Coast Exhaust and Off-Road. For over 20 years, my crew and I have been keeping rides running rides. From cars and trucks to side-by-sides, ready to roll into the season. Whether you need a tune-up, oil change, or full custom build, bring it to the crew that loves what we do. Get your rig ready for fall and winter adventures with a $100 suspension inspection. Only at West Coast Exhaust and Off-Road. Check out our 5-star Google reviews and swing by in Fresno, just west of Shaw and Brawley, or online at westcoastexhaustandoffroad.com.
Want to work somewhere fun, flexible, and rewarding? Me and Ed's is hiring. We're looking to expand our team with full and part-time positions at over 40 locations. Join our growing company as a delivery driver or valued team member today. For more information on job descriptions or to apply, go online at meandeds.com or visit your nearest location. Me and Ed's is hiring. Fill out an application.
Are you tired of waiting forever for your prescriptions? Grizzly Pharmacy is here to tame your healthcare needs. We fill most prescriptions in 15 minutes or less, always accepting new patients, and enjoy free delivery to your home or workplace in Fresno and Clovis. We accept all major insurance, including Medi-Cal, Blue Cross, and Optum Rx. For our Clovis location, please call 559-324-1808 or visit grizzlypharmacy.com for more information.
ESPN Fresno, the Valley's local sports leader, carrying on into this second hour here, taking you all the way up to Lakers and Thunder. Lakers and Thunder tonight from OKC, 6:15 pre, 6:30 tip-off from Oklahoma City. Gabe, you're a Warriors fan, right? Yeah.
Warriors fan.
Not great right now. So
yeah, I have an issue with Draymond beefing with media members.
Yeah,
I mean, Draymond's a media member himself. As soon as the season's over,
but there's new media and old media apparently that we're dealing with.
Draymond's new media too.
New media.
He's not. He's with a podcast and
Yeah.
on TNT, or I guess not TNT anymore. I don't know what his deal's going to be when season's over. Because
Right.
every time the Warriors get eliminated,
Yeah.
he puts on this suit and starts talking about other players in the league that he doesn't like Rudy
Exactly.
Gobert.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Of course. You know, it's a charged statement I'm about to say, but Draymond, you just shut up and dribble. You know what I'm going to say?
He is this era's Dennis Rodman,
Yeah,
without
yeah.
all the colorful hair and the off-field antics. It's just that wart that just won't go away. You keep rubbing cream on it. You try to get rid of the wart, and he stays with you.
Draymond, I love him, hate him. I love him. I can't hate Draymond Green.
My
He is
favorite
guy.
story coming out of the Warriors right now is the whole Podzemski thing.
Oh,
where he
yeah.
said he wanted to be better than Curry.
I've heard that actually has like made people mad
Yeah,
inside
but
the
I don't
Warriors
understand.
organization.
A man can't have dreams.
Yeah. Dream
Unattainable
they-
dreams.
Keep them as your dreams. Sir.
Wow.
I would have dreamed to be the best baseball player in the world, but here we are. By the way, Tarek School just won Cy Young. That just came across my news wave there. All right. Football game on Saturday against Wyoming. We've been kind of breaking it down through the week, tipping into what this game is looking like. The Cowboys, Entz described them as physical football team, a team that's going to be, especially in the front side of it. And when the Bulldogs face a physical team, I don't know how you quantify physicality as far as maybe just eye test side of things or what it looks like. I don't know what you think of when you think of physicality as the first trait of teams you've seen play this Bulldog squad.
I think every team in the Mountain West is physical in their own way. Like Nevada had a nasty defensive line, and Hawaii, their defensive line was pretty good too. They got to E.J. Warner multiple times, and Warner had to throw while he was hit. I think Boise State brought a level of physicality. We talked about that with Entz at the presser a few weeks ago. Boise State had this great defense that he was impressed with, and I think what impressed me was how they rushed for over 190 yards on that defense. Like, say what you want about Carson Conklin throwing the ball 20 times for 135, right?
35 passing yards.
Oh, yeah, 35. My bad. 35 passing yards. 135, we wouldn't be talking about it,
No,
but it's 35.
35's an eye-popping number.
So they still won, though. Like, this team, I think, made a statement with what their mentality is. Like, they said before the season, they said during the season, we want to run the ball. We want to be the most physical team in the country. We want to play good defense. That's how we want to win. And they've done that, and they've won games with that. Now, they've also won games with incredible turnover luck. Call it luck, call it skill. They're 11 takeaways in their 3 conference wins, and that includes a 2-point win against Hawaii and a 3-point win against Nevada. That's been so crucial to them winning in conference play. Can they keep that up? Like, are they playing offenses in Wyoming and Utah State and San Jose State that will turn the ball over that much? Like, when they beat Boise State and got 3 takeaways in that game, they're playing the walk-on backup quarterback.
I would almost say 4 if you count the block field goal
Right.
as well. That's also a turnover, essentially, if you think about it.
Yeah, 3 takeaways and a blocked field goal.
Yeah.
That was against a backup walk-on quarterback at Boise State. Against Nevada, we saw Chubba Purdy get benched in that game, and they brought in the freshman who hasn't played well since that game. That's how Fresno State got 4 takeaways against Nevada. And then against Hawaii, Micah Alahado for Hawaii was banged up. He was coming in injured. He wasn't close to 100%. Heck, he even told reporters after they beat San Diego State into oblivion, Micah Alahado said he's only 85% right now. So what was he at 6 weeks ago when Hawaii lost by 2 on the islands to Fresno State, and he turned the ball over 3 times? I don't know. So I wonder, like, Fresno State is taking advantage of great opportunities, playing backup quarterbacks, banged up quarterbacks, or just straight up bad quarterbacks. What about playing Wyoming and Utah State, who are respectable outfits? Wyoming beat Colorado State 28-0 a few weeks after Colorado State blew out Fresno State.
Yeah.
I think Wyoming's a really good team. They have a solid defensive front. It's going to be so crucial for Fresno State to get a lead in this game. That's as it always is, but especially in this one with the big question at quarterback. We don't know how Carson Conklin's going to look in this game.
Here is where Wyoming stands in terms of turnovers lost in this season right now. They are tied for 111th. 16 interceptions thrown, lost. Turnovers lost completely. Only a few select teams right now. Nevada's the worst, by the way, in terms of turnovers. They're 24.
Where's Fresno State out on that list?
Fresno is also at 16 turnovers lost.
So they're tied with Wyoming for
They're
giving
tied
the
with
ball
Wyoming
away.
in terms of giving the ball away. If I quickly go to turnovers gained, I would imagine Fresno State is at the top of that list.
Near the top.
They are top 18 right now. They have a 0 turnover margin. 0. Fresno State does, with a plus 16 on the defense and a minus 16 on the offensive side. I said this about it yesterday. Is it now assumed that Fresno State, you can assume this defense will turn the team over on the other side? I think that's assumed, and you will have opportunities to take advantage of those situations. I don't know what the points of turnovers situations have been for Fresno State. I imagine we have a pretty decent clip in terms of it from my memory. But I think you can game plan to it. And I was saying this yesterday with Tanvir and the crew. I really, really, really see a conservative game plan in this game on Saturday. I see it maybe being 3-0 by midway through the second of game field position, waiting for Wyoming to blink in this football game on Saturday. It's going to be frustrating, maybe. I get it.
A conservative game plan led to 0 points against San Diego State. I don't think they can afford to go conservative.
Yeah.
With Harold Duvall, reportedly going to get more looks in this game, the freshman receiver out of Clovis East, I feel like his ability to make big plays is going to help this offense a lot. Like, we saw it on his first career catch. He caught a 30-yard touchdown pass that he got behind the defense against Southern. Not going to be as easy against Wyoming, but I feel like Harold Duvall has a role to play in this game. And I think that's what this team needs, is more playmaking threats outside of what we have at running back.
Well, what is Carson Conklin going to look like in this game after 2 weeks of repping with this offense now, where because let's talk about the games he's had to play. A day before San Diego State, basically, he was told he was playing.
No,
he said
I don't think it was the day before.
He said Thursday or Friday he was notified before he said that in a quote somewhere.
Okay.
I saw it after a practice. He said Thursday or Friday I knew I was going to play against San Diego State. He said that, and I'm not making anything up.
All right.
So he only had a couple days before that defense, the number one defense in the Mountain West at that time, before Saturday. That's an unusual circumstance. Playing on the Boise Blue. Far from a normal experience for any quarterback.
For sure.
Knowing the nerves of that kind of game and what it presents, especially with what your back is against the wall. 2 weeks to prep where Conklin can play in system, Conklin can play on schedule as a quarterback, and maybe feel a little more comfortable knowing he's had the reps for maybe the semi-most normal game he's had to play this year at quarterback. I think there could be something there to lean on, and maybe we finally see why he was sought out by this coaching staff through the transfer portal to come here and play at Fresno State. It's not like he was just a bum off the street that people are thinking he is because he played 2 statistically not great games. There's a legit reason why he's here, and I think we finally potentially see it on this game on Saturday potentially as well.
We have not seen it yet, though, so that's why it's all just belief. We believe in Carson Conklin, but it's hard for some people to believe what they haven't seen yet. So I do understand those that are questioning, do we have a quarterback on this team that's good? Like, E.J. Warner struggled. He did move the ball downfield, though. The offense was more balanced with E.J. Warner at quarterback.
Game-winning drives, too.
Game-winning drives, yes. Everyone talked about the turnovers. I think either the last time I was on your show or the time before that, we talked about what would it take for E.J. to get benched.
It was right before San Diego.
Right before San Diego.
And what it took was a coach reevaluation in the practice of the week.
Little did we know, as we were talking, he was already benched.
Yeah.
We had no idea. But I feel like with Carson, it's just an unknown quantity. We haven't seen him put together a long, sustained drive. All the drives they've had have been short, against Boise State.
Yeah.
Touchdown in the second half, that third quarter when they went up 17-7.
I can give you the drive charts.
I think it might have been a fumble actually forced by Simeon Harris or an interception. But I know they had some short fields because of some really bad Boise State punts. I don't think they've had to go 75 yards on an opening drive yet with Carson Conklin. Or I don't think they've done that yet. The closest they got was that first drive against San Diego State when they elected not to kick the field goal. Would have been a 52-yarder. They punted it at the 35-yard line, and that was it against San Diego State. That was their best drive.
Here are your starting drive locations on the scoring drives from 2 weeks ago.
Against Boise State.
Fresno State 45 on the touchdown. Later, it was a pick at the Boise 46 that led to a field goal. In the third, it was a fumble at the Boise 27 that led to a touchdown. Later in the third, it was a punt to the Boise 43 that led to a touchdown.
So they crossed midfield one time?
Here we go. They had a field goal drive, start at their own 25 in the end of the third.
But that was a field goal, though.
That was a field goal drive. A 15-play, 50-yard drive that ended in a field goal, and then their last field goal started at the Boise 19 on turnover on downs.
So they kicked 4 field goals.
They kicked
3 field goals.
Three field goals, 3 touchdowns. The one pick you're thinking of, Simeon Harris, yielded a punt.
Okay.
Yeah.
But the fumble he forced led to that touchdown by Ramirez.
Yeah, the touchdown, where but they were at the 27. They were at the Boise 27. They needed 27 yards to score a touchdown.
Yeah. So what I heard right now is that one touchdown drive that crossed midfield against Boise State. Everything else was in Boise territory.
It was starting at the Fresno State 45 was the only touchdown that started in Fresno territory.
I want to see this team put long touchdown drives together.
That's what we're asking.
For this team to win 3 in a row, they're going to have to do that because they could probably beat Wyoming, with 50 passing yards and 200 rushing yards. Wyoming, offensively, you put the numbers out there. They struggle to take care of the football. They struggle to move it as well. They're not that good of a team. But Utah State's next on the schedule, and we were talking about this during the break.
Yeah.
Utah State has some pretty impressive losses.
Yeah, I was looking at it. Utah State, we mentioned it yesterday, Utah State at A&M. A&M's clearly in the playoff picture right now. They lost by 22 at A&M. Vanderbilt, kind of on that outside looking in, been a frisky team this year. They lost by 20, 55-35. They scored 35 at Vandy, on an SEC team.
To beat Utah State, they're going to have to put together long touchdown drives because they're going to need to. I mean, this defense, unless they're just so elite and they keep the other team to 14 points or fewer in the next 3 games.
Utah State's other losses on the road were at Hawaii, who we now know what Hawaii is on the islands, and that win continues to look amazing for Fresno State. And then New Mexico, who I'm plussing. New Mexico's a plus team in the Mountain West as well, and I seriously think they are capable of finishing as a 2-loss team in this. Do you want to go into just looking at the standings real quick, because it could be bonkers by the end of the season here between 6 to 7 teams potentially going through this as far as the Mountain West is concerned. So we look at the schedule here this week, and obviously we are going to operate under the assumption Fresno needs to win all 3 games and will win all 3 games if this exercise works. San Diego State, Boise State, San Diego State. I think I reserve the idea. I think I want San Diego State to win. Yes. Just simply, you want the teams that are next to you in the standings to be the teams you have beaten.
Yes.
As opposed to Boise being the 1-loss team now up, and San Diego's tied with you, and you lose the tiebreaker in that situation. So
I saw nothing in that Boise State performance against Fresno State that makes me think they're going to win 3 in a row. I mean, with the quarterback that they put in there, I'm sure he's gotten better with the bye week, but I'm not sure against San Diego State's defense. The corner's going to come back. Chris Johnson missed the Hawaii game. He'll be back, and he's a tough guy to throw on.
Boise's got San Diego State. They got Colorado State at home, and then they got a game at Utah State, which on a Friday, by the way, short week Friday, Utah State game.
They will lose one of those games. I think there'll be 2 losses like Fresno State.
Yeah. Then you go to your other games. UNLV at Hawaii is next week on a Friday. That's another major game in my mind, because that determines who's tied with Fresno if you're going to be a 2-loss team, right? I think it's absolutely very important for Hawaii to be tied with Fresno the rest of the way. Hawaii's got UNLV. They got Wyoming. That's it. They're on a bye this week. So Hawaii's only got 2 more chances to stay in that second spot. I don't see any other scenario where I would want UNLV to win that game. I don't think UNLV needs to win that game for us. I think Hawaii is the team that needs to win that game. It's going to be really crucial there.
I agree, but UNLV also plays Utah State this week. And I could see UNLV losing this week to Utah State and then beating Hawaii, and Fresno State still gets what it wants. It
can't get what
a tie with Hawaii or Boise.
Well, you control your – so, I like that path too, right? You get Utah State to beat UNLV. UNLV then drops to a 3-loss team.
No, I'm saying UNLV could lose this week and then beat Hawaii next week, and you still get –
Then you eliminate those two basically because they become 3-loss teams in the conference. That eliminates them out of the conversation. That's a good point there. The New Mexico path as well, where they got Colorado State. I imagine they win that. Air Force has been a leaky faucet in terms of defense. I imagine they can win that. Then the San Diego State game, where you could see New Mexico win that game. It's in Albuquerque. It's not a given what San Diego State has presented on offense. I think New Mexico's got a really good offensive team as well. That game has a lot, especially it's on a Friday too. We're talking Fresno State could know exactly what it needs on Saturday against San Jose State at the end of the year as well, because all these games that matter are going to be on the Friday.
I wouldn't want to be tied with New Mexico at the end of the season.
No.
New Mexico probably has way better computer numbers because they beat UCLA.
They beat UNLV.
And UNLV.
They beat Utah State. They lost to Boise. That's their one, where we have, if you go computer ranking, we beat Boise. They beat, maybe Colorado State does us a solid, and Colorado State can beat New Mexico this week. I don't know. It's been a turmoil for the Colorado State Rams as well.
Well, their only conference win came against Fresno State.
Crazy.
So, I mean, I don't want to be a downer on the Dogs. I think they have an outstanding defense. I think the running game has carried them, and a lot more credit should be given to what Rayshon Speedy Luke has given this team, like a true playmaking threat. Picks up 20 yards at least once or twice a game on one play. I just think it's tough to see this team win 3 in a row given what we saw at quarterback the last 2 games. Like, I think you need a quarterback that's going to be making plays consistently downfield. And I say that because that's all we've seen at Fresno State for the last however long Tedford's been here. Like, we've seen quarterbacks that threaten defenses vertically. We haven't seen a Fresno State team play like this. So maybe I'm still kind of getting used to the Matt-incification of Fresno State football. Maybe by
or the Repat Hilling-ification of this game as well.
But is there a quarterback that Carson Conklin reminds you of, though? Like, a quarterback that comes in halfway through the year without any FBS experience. Like, at least Marcus McMaryion had that time at Oregon State.
Can I give you an NFL example right now? It's like Tyler Shook. Like, kind of just like, hey, he won a game, though. He won a game.
For the Saints?
You know, it's like, I'm not impressed by him, but he's, starting and playing football.
Yeah.
I don't have the comp other than maybe this defense is as elite as it can to overcome quarterback issues. Maybe it's that good.
Maybe. And if Carson Conklin has a great game on Saturday, I'll take everything back and I'll say, you know what? They are destined to win. I'm maybe just thinking about the last few Novembers. Fresno State doesn't have a really good record in Novembers in the last 2 years. Both 2023 and 2024 were Novembers to forget. You don't want to remember those Novembers. This could be a different type of team, though. I mean, we've seen this team win games that last year's team couldn't.
Yeah.
Last year's team, do they pull out the win at Hawaii? Do they pull out the win against Nevada at home, like trying to hold on by the skin of their fingernails? Like,
you kind of find it a minor miracle they did what they did to Colorado State last year at home to get to bowl eligible. Just jump it out to that 28-0 lead. It was pretty insane. But all right, we're out of time on this, but I want to take a break. When we come back, I just want to touch a little bit on the high school side as well. But we'll continue in here. Gabe stays with us here. Hour number 2 rolls on here on 1430 ESPN.
Game day just got a whole lot sweeter and a little bit saucy. KFC's bringing back one of the most requested plays in menu history, the original Honey Barbecue. That's right, that sweet, smoky, finger-licking legend from the late 90s is back and better than ever. Now you can get that classic Honey Barbecue flavor on everything, including their 2-piece chicken combo for $10.99 or the original Honey Barbecue chicken sandwich for $11.99. The original Honey Barbecue, sweet, savory, and back in the game. And it's happening only at KFC.
On game day, don't just settle for weak snacks. You go big, like a boss. The Butcher Boss brings you the kickoff platter, stacked high with man-sized, fully cooked meats. Tender sliced tri-tip, fall off the bone, pork spare ribs, smoked sausage, fiery jalapeno poppers, already sliced, already prepped. This Sunday, don't just watch the game, own it with a kickoff platter from the Butcher Boss. So call today to pre-order yours. The Butcher Boss, 41 south of Riverstone.
Here's a tip from All-American Glass, Fresno's go-to since 1990.
Hey, it's Isaac with All-American Glass. When it's time to replace your windshield, here are 3 things to keep in mind. First, try to choose a shop that's a registered member of the Auto Glass Safety Council. Second, make sure the technicians working on your vehicle are knowledgeable and certified. And third, if your vehicle is equipped with advanced driving assistance systems, make sure a successful recalibration of the forward-facing camera is performed after the installation. These are some of the reasons you can count on All-American Glass. And remember, we treat your car like family.
Get a free quote today at aagfresno.com.
Football season's here, and it's time to upgrade your home team's game plan with Robinson's Interiors. Whether you're hosting the big game or relaxing after a win, the right flooring can make all the difference. From durable hardwood to cozy carpet, Robinson's Interiors has the best selection and unbeatable prices, all backed by professional installation the Valley has trusted for over 40 years. So give yourself home field advantage. Don't wait for the touchdown. Visit Robinson's Interiors in Fresno and Hanford today. Robinson's Interiors, the Valley's flooring MVP.
Hey, Dad, have you thought about what we talked about?
You mean Thiessen-Duker Modern Wealth Management? Modern sounds complicated.
Look, you've got money, but it's all over the place. That's complicated, and your money could be working smarter for you. Thiessen-Duker uses advanced software designed to analyze how your different assets can work together toward your goals. You'd be surprised what a few simple adjustments can make. A lot of other advisors don't even use this technology.
And it wasn't complicated?
Thiessen-Duker made it simple. And now my accounts are streamlined too. I go to thiesenduker.com, click on the Account View tab, and I can see all my accounts in one place.
Oh, your mom would love that.
Yeah, and so will you. That's what Thiessen-Duker can do for you.
Modern Wealth Management. I'm in, son.
Just visit thiesenduker.com and give them a call.
The advisors of Thiessen-Duker Modern Wealth Management are registered representatives with and securities offered through LPL Financial, member FINRA SIPC.
Thursday Night Football is only on NFL Network.
That's going to be a dogfight.
We're here for a primetime showdown in the Lone Star State.
That's big time there.
Christian McCaffrey is ready to lead the Panthers to the next level.
Surgical precision.
But the Texans are looking to show out in front of the H-Town faithful.
Bang, touchdown.
Panthers, Texans. Week 3 starts here.
This guy can run.
Thursday Night Football. Thursday at 8, only on NFL Network.
Citrus season is here, and once again, growers are choosing orange over blue because Kubota means less downtime, easier controls, and better value through the long harvest stretch. When you're racing weather, labor, and time, uptime matters, and Kubota delivers. So, turn to Pioneer Equipment, your authorized Kubota dealer, for the tractors and service they depend on. With Fresno and Wrigley locations, Pioneer Equipment, your authorized Kubota dealer, is ready for you this season. Visit Pioneer Equipment, your authorized Kubota dealer, today. Online at pioneerequipmentca.com.
Being Fresno the Valley's local sports leader, only a little bit time left in this hour, a little bit time left with Gabe here. And Gabe, we've had spirited conversation about the college level, especially Fresno State with the football. But, of course, we got some games on Friday as well. A lot of big ones in terms of it. And I don't know how the rain situation will be. It could be relaxing by the time. I don't know. The rain is changing hour by hour, I think, in terms of it. It could be a sloppy weekend of football. Do you think that changes any potential? We have the known quantities of high school football, but when you get inclement weather introduced to these situations, do you kind of recall maybe sometimes things getting a little bit different? We may get some crazy results this week.
You have to run the football to win football games, but especially if it's raining. Like, if it rains Saturday, I think Fresno State can win because that means they're going to run the ball. And if they get stopped running the ball, that's when they have a problem.
Yeah.
Well, I look at teams like Buchanan, who runs the ball. And Central East has struggled to stop the run this year a little bit. Like, they've ran the ball extremely well with Brandon Smith. Don't get me wrong. But defensively, I mean, they were tied with Clovis East at halftime last week. Against Buchanan and Clovis West on the road, they were trailing in those games in the first half. And they were able to come back because in the second half, they found their playmakers, and that's what they always do. But if it's going to be pouring rain on Friday, that plays into Buchanan strength. It plays into a couple team strength, like in D1A, for example. Liberty, Bakersfield, and Hanford.
Mm-hmm.
Hanford is, if I was making together betting lines for high school football, but I'm not a sicko, so I'm not doing that, I would have Hanford as like a home underdog. Because we're talking about the Liberty, Bakersfield Patriots, a team that played 3 schools in the track and non-league. And went into their league and only lost to Frontier.
Mm-hmm.
So I know Liberty's 3-7. They might have lost to another team besides Frontier. I haven't checked the schedule. But Liberty Bakersfield is a Division I school, and Hanford is in Division II. And they're meeting in like that D1/D2 bracket. They call it D1A.
Mm-hmm.
Liberty on the road with rain, they're going to run the ball all they want. And I've seen their O-line. They're huge, like huge kids. I don't know what they feed them at Liberty High School.
Yeah.
That's going to be a problem for Hanford, who is a spread offense, no huddle attack. In Division III, Kennedy's a wing T offense. They run the ball all the time, and they're playing against a Golden West team. Throws it all the time. Golden West is going to have a problem in that game because they lost to Redwood, who is very similar to Kennedy Delano. So
Redwood's got San Luis Obispo this Friday as well. You talk about another throwing team versus a team that I think can throw the ball but likes to run it with their 2 running backs, Kingsburg, Tulare Union's an interesting one, I would say.
Yeah.
In terms of the weather, you guys got that game on your television set as well.
I think with that game, it's different because Tulare doesn't throw the ball downfield so much as they kind of dink and duck it to DeMaj Riley or Braden Stevenson or they got the cousin of Casimir Allen on the team, Frankie Allen. Those guys can catch the ball at the line of scrimmage, and at this high school level, they're elite enough. They can just make kids miss tackles, and they'll run for like 50 yards.
Yeah.
So they're not so much worried about the rain. It actually might help them because that turf at Bob Mathias Stadium, it's going to be slippery with the rain.
I have heard only stories and stories beyond stories about that Tulare Union turf. It's insane.
It's probably going to actually hurt Kingsburg with where the game's being played.
Yeah.
Like, that Tulare team plays differently on that turf.
Of the quarterfinal, I know I'm asking you to do this based off memory. Is there like a bracket where you're like, wow, these quarterfinal games?
Division III is so awesome, Phil. You got Washington Union and Shafter. Shafter looked not too good against 16 seed Mission
Well, I've heard
Prep.
they had an injury.
They do have an injury.
Yeah.
I was watching KBAK's coverage. They do such a great job. Hometown Sports Sunday nights. They have full game highlights of every single playoff game with a Bakersfield school. So I watched Shafter, and they had Marion Sloan, their Boise State commit running back, on the sideline with a hamstring injury. He's not going to be playing this week. And they struggled against Mission Prep. They're playing against Washington Union, who has multiple future college athletes. I mean, some are Division I, FCS. I think some will find homes at junior colleges locally. But they got guys like Paul Holland IV. They got Davian Potts. Their running game is solid. And I could totally see Washington Union going in a Shafter and beating a depleted Generals team. Kermit versus Wasco is an exciting matchup.
41-20 over Tulare Western the week before. One of the few teams to win on the road last weekend as well. So they got a good game there in Wasco.
Porterville Independence is an interesting battle. You got Paul Gola, one of the most successful coaches in this section's history, going to Porterville. And then the Kennedy Golden West. We talked about that one. So
there as well.
All four of those games are toss-ups.
Some other games I'm peeping. Bakersfield, Central Valley Christian. K and CVC continue their streak. Is just basically what I would break it down to is here as well. Bakersfield, I love how the way they play. They're so physical. And being at Bakersfield, the home of the Drillers, we know what that stadium's all about. You go a little lower. McLean 10-0 taking on a Dos Palos team that we know is a little feisty in that side. Roosevelt, a 5 seed, going out to North Bakersfield as well in that D4. I like D4 as well, pretty much, basically from that side of things. So, Gabe, 1 minute left here. What is your hottest take of the playoffs so far?
Central East is not the favorite of 1AA. I think it's a toss-up. I know Kyle Biggs probably loves to hear that. He's like, let me clip that and send it to my team. They need to get fired up. They need something to motivate them because they're the top dogs. This time last year, Central East wasn't expected to do anything. They went to Clovis North, beat the Broncos and McCain-Madison. Last year, they went to Clovis East, beat one of the best high school football teams we've seen in this valley, but they were the best to not win at all. I think that Clovis West game is going to be fantastic. That's not a hot take.
You can listen to it on 1430.
My hot take is this. The winner of that game is going to win it all.
Wow. All right. You heard it here from Gabe. That's great. Can't wait. And we'll have that game on 1430 on Friday. What a way to push. What a way to publicize that, Gabe. Way to push there. You just know how to endorse it. Gabe, appreciate it as always. People can find you over on Twitter, find you at KMPH and all the great stuff that you do over there. Appreciate you coming on the show.
Yep, thank you. At Gabe Camarillo.
There you go, Gabe Camarillo from KMPH. All right, we'll take a break. We'll have one more hour here before Laker basketball. Stay with us. Behind the Bench rolls along.
Introducing The Sidebar, a brand new open-air beer garden at Me and Ed's Coney Island Grill in River Park. Experience a new way to catch a game, hang with friends, and enjoy new appetizers, char-grilled burgers, salads, wings with over 10 house-made sauces, and of course, world-famous Me and Ed's pizza. Thirsty? Try our self-poured taps with over a dozen craft beers, wines, ciders, and craft seltzers, plus a full bar with an impressive selection of tequilas, whiskeys, and craft cocktails. The Sidebar at Me and Ed's Coney Island Grill, now open in River Park.
There's no such thing as an off-season. When the days get shorter and the fields aren't up to par, it's time to train smarter at Elite Performance Center in Clovis. This full-service indoor facility has batting cages, drills, clinics, and one-on-one lessons with elite coaches, former D1 athletes, MLB vets, and even Fresno State softball players. Whether it's a single lane, a private lesson, or the whole 6-cage facility, Elite Performance Center is here for individuals, groups, and teams. Find Elite on Barstow, just east of Clovis Avenue, or online at ElitePerformanceCenterCA.com. Elite Performance Center. Train like the elite.
The long goodbye begins. A very special evening with Journey. Final Frontier Tour. Friday, April 24th. Save Mart Center. The lights go down one final time. Tickets on sale Friday, November 14th at 10 a.m. at JourneyMusic.com. Journey. Final Frontier Tour.
The deadline to receive the 30% federal solar tax credit is December 31st. That's the day your new solar system must be operational. The deadline to call Donald P. Dick is Friday, November 21st. A new solar system starts at under $10,000. Donald P. Dick will provide a proposal with all the details for you to make an informed decision. Let Mr. Cool show you how to drive down the cost of home energy. Call 559-255-1644 for Donald P. Dick.
Fresno County is filled with talent, but opportunity doesn't always reach every student. The foundation at FCOE is just $100,000 away from reaching our $1 million endowment for excellence. This fund safeguards life-changing programs, from academic decathlon and career expos to arts, leadership, and college readiness, ensuring opportunities for students now and for generations to come. Join us. Every gift builds tomorrow. Visit FCOEfoundation.org/raise to 1 million.
Mike Dermanuel Jr. of Hub International Insurance Group.
We're local, but our resources run all over the world. Leveraging the resources of a large organization, still living in the community, and really getting to know clients, that's the secret sauce of being really good in this industry.
Hub International. Learn more at hubinternational.com. License number 0757776.
If our clients succeed, we succeed.
Your Fresno State Bulldogs are fighting for that Mountain West Championship. There's nothing better than rooting for your Bulldogs as they battle it out on the gridiron, representing your city of Fresno. Bring the whole family and get loud cheering on your Bulldogs at Valley Children's Stadium all season long. Be sure to check out GoBulldogs.com today for information on special events and to grab your tickets for upcoming home games. Go Dogs!
Progressive knows not all rides are smooth. Meet Claire. She loves her motorcycle, and she's learned to love the insects she encounters on her rides. She may not know the difference between a gnat and a mosquito at 55 miles per hour, but she does know one thing. It's always gross when one flies into her mouth. But she's so used to it that it's weird when it doesn't happen. Not every ride is smooth, but Progressive has your back with comprehensive and collision coverage from America's #1 motorcycle insurer. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates, not available in D.C.
Your home for high school sports. 1430 ESPN, the Valley's local sports leader. KFIG Fresno.
I'm Christine Lisi. Breaking news. Tigers ace Tarek Skubal has won his second straight AL Cy Young Award. The NBA's Eastern Conference leading Pistons looking to run their winning streak to 8 tonight. They're up 63-51 on the Bulls' second quarter. On ESPN, Knicks find themselves down double digits at home. They trail the Magic 46-33 second quarter. Also in the second quarter, Hornets up 49-40 on the Bucks. First quarter, Heat leading the Cavaliers 22-18. Celtics up 22-10 on the Grizzlies. First quarter, no Ja Morant for Memphis tonight due to ankle soreness. Mavericks power forward Anthony Davis will not return from a left calf strain until the okay from owner Patrick Dumont. He will miss a seventh straight game tonight against the Suns. LeBron James, assigned to the Lakers G League affiliate, took part in his first full practice of the season as he works his way back for a return from sciatica. He hopes to make his season debut this month. The approach LA's taken with LeBron benefits him and the team, notes ESPN's Chiney Agwumike.
He has two guys that he can rely on in Luka Doncic and Austin Reeves. He's always had a 30% usage rate. He's never gone below 28%. This is a year where they can actually protect him offensively because he has guys that he can trust. So I do believe that LeBron taking his time has actually been the best case scenario for this Lakers squad, who is trending upward.
Lakers Thunder tonight, 9:30 Eastern ESPN. Clippers guard Bradley Beal will have season-ending hip surgery. NHL, not a great night for goaltenders in Tampa. Rangers leading the Lightning 4-3 first intermission. New York's Igor Shesterkin gave up 3 goals on 10 shots. Tampa's Andrei Vasilevsky 4 goals on 8 shots.
Hey, this is Rich Eisen. Coming up Thursday, we'll preview the Patriots-Jets on Thursday night. Landman star Ali Larder stops by in studio, plus NFL Week 11 higher register. That's Thursday on The Rich Eisen Show on Disney+, the ESPN app, and ESPN Radio.
He's got the knowledge.
Because once again, I have to come on there and talk about how right I am once again. In anything that it comes to sports.
He's got the questions.
I'm going to lose it. Are you kidding me? What are we doing here?
He's got the guests.
20th head coach in Fresno State history here, Matt. Is it hard to believe sometimes still, the 20th head coach here in program history?
It's all moved really quickly here over the course of the last 5-6 weeks. But super excited to be here.
Phil Bonatti is the voice for the Central Valley sports leader. Behind the Bench starts now. Brought to you by Helena Agri.
That's right. Behind the Bench here on 1430 ESPN Fresno, the Valley's local sports leader, here on this Wednesday afternoon. One more hour before we take it up to Laker basketball at 6:15. By the way, a reminder also coming up tonight over on 790, you got the FPU Sunbird Sports Show with Paul Metters, which he'll be hosting from 6 to 7, so you'll listen to that. Over to Laker basketball. That's totally a good move. Totally good move for you there on these family networks here. Of course, a reminder, tomorrow we'll have our show of Fashion Furniture for 2 hours. We'll be taking up to Jets and Patriots. Sharks and Flames on the other side tomorrow as well. And we'll be at Friday Night Lights on Friday, Clovis versus Clovis West, 6:30 pre with a 7 p.m. kickoff from La Monica. All right. So it's 5 o'clock, which means it is a fun hour here to do some fun stuff here, including our 5 at 5. And, well, thank you to the new breaking news we had today. If you're a Fresno State fan, it's was announced about 4 or 5 hours ago. But the Bulldogs athletic program has come out with a new uniform. Yes. Have you seen the whiteout uniforms, the Ag and Swag uniforms from Fresno State? They have released these. No, this is not like the April Fool's prank. Like 8 years ago? How long was it? I got a, let's see. I wonder if I could pull up the article and see what actually date it was. Yeah, no, it was on 2020. It was. I thought it was like 8 years ago. That was like only 5 years ago. Wow, crazy. But no, these look pretty sick. They've got all the details, including some grapes in the green numbering design. You've got the Valley V on the side of the helmets. It's completely white with green numbering. You got a 5V9 instead of the 559 there, but the V is a 5 as well on the front of the helmet. That's pretty sick there as well. We'll go over the details into it. I'm sure you've seen it all over. Just look it up, Fresno State whiteout Ag uniforms, and you'll find them immediately in terms of it. Tanvir, we love a new uni. You've told me that you especially are primed to the uniform game.
Connoisseur, people.
Connoisseur. You are, a sommelier of uniforms per se, in terms of what you like in your taste and what you do. What do you think of this entry into Bulldog football lore?
I like it. I really do. The thing I love about this uniform the most, I already detailed it to you earlier, was the pattern that they have inside the numbers. I love when teams have that going on a white background, and when you see the floral design with the agriculture symbols all in that numbering, it makes the uniform look perfect. So I really like it. I think it's a great way to go as an alternate uniform. There's only so many colors that you can do, especially when you're tied to the colors that you have. You have your blackout uniforms, you have your whites, obviously the reds and the blues. But I think green was definitely a color that was untapped potential with this team, because it's always significant with the Central Valley, and so yeah, I really do like it.
We like the tertiary. Sometimes teams going to that aesthetically for me, the World Series was really cool because it was white and blue with the tertiary red between both of those teams. Both of them had a little red, and they could go a lot of it red if they wanted to. Not the Dodgers particularly, but I know the Blue Jays got their red. But I like it when teams lean into the tertiary color to highlight where they really can go in terms of the uniforms. I always been saying they need a green V uniform. I've been saying that for like 10, 12 years to my friends and to the people around me. And this is exactly what I kind of wanted. I didn't think of it as a whiteout uniform, but I definitely thought there needed to be a helmet with the V on the side, and I'm sure there's a Bulldog on the back. I haven't seen the full details on it, but
there is.
Yeah, that's got to be where it is, where normally the V is. They have the Bulldog there, and yeah, I'm excited. That jersey combo is going to be worn for the Utah State game, which is the senior night, which will be the final home game of the year, regular season-wise, for this Bulldog team. So I'm excited. I'm excited to see it. And Tanvir, when you have the team looking good, sometimes you play good, you feel good, and some people say it's just a uniform, but I think the uniforms certainly matter.
They certainly do.
In terms of the swag out there as well. All right. So in honor of this release and what we saw today, Tanvir and I have compiled a list of our 5 favorite Fresno State uniforms thus far that we have seen throughout the years. This is extremely subjective, and do not take this as kosher. But we have our tastes, and we are excited to share them. So, Tanvir, are you ready to do the 5 of 5 here?
Let's do it.
Let's do the 5 of 5.
It's time now for Phil's 5 at 5.
That's right. Tanvir, what stood out when you were just kind of looking through the history of Bulldog uniforms before you reveal your top 5 here?
A lot of simplicity in the 2000s and the late 90s. There wasn't much change in the uniform. I think like mid-2010s into current day is kind of when we've seen the alternate iterations of the Bulldog uniform, but you didn't really see that much massive change or alternates like a lot of other teams would do in that time frame.
For me, I think there was a lot of helmet stuff that happened. I think the jerseys stayed pretty much the same, but the helmets were a lot that Fresno State really tinkered with in terms of it, a lot of different nods and notes to it from that standpoint. So,
and I will say, personally, I think a great helmet is the best part of the uniform.
Certainly.
I know a lot of people will say the jersey, but I think the helmet makes a uniform work the best out of any of those pieces.
Absolutely. So we'll continue here, and we'll start with
number 5.
And I'm going to go with one of those uniforms that I thought I think is underrated. I think it's a really good one in terms of it. Especially it being tied to what I think is one of the most epic moments in Fresno State history. And I'm going to go to 2022. I'm going to the all-blue uniform with the blue helmet script for the Bulldogs, that being the one they wore when they beat San Diego State in the epic comeback, and Jake Haener and the Miracle for the Bulldogs to continue their season and have hopes of a Mountain West championship. But I think there's something about Navy. I think there's something about just the aesthetic of a monochrome uniform. I like monochrome more than I think I like the mismatch of the colors to me. This highlights the blue perfectly to me. It's a deep navy blue that I think a lot of Fresno State fans, I think it's an underrated color in the Fresno State color scheme as well when we are surrounded by a lot of red and white. But I think having the blue aesthetic is something that matters, and I think it's a really good entry here, number 5 for me.
Yeah, that is a very underrated color, I think, in the Fresno State color scheme. I'm going to go with the 2025 Valley Pride uniforms, the ones that just got released. This is my number 5. I love the green, as I've already stated. I like the little accents that they have. They have the blue bulldog on like the little collar piece. And yeah, I just think that this was a color scheme that they needed to explore. I love, as I said already, I love the design, the pattern in the numbers. And I think it's probably one of the more unique ones. Would I have gone with the big green V on the side of the helmet? I personally wouldn't have. I probably would have just done a Bulldog logo with the green.
Yeah.
I think that could have worked with the V still in the back. But I still love it. I like the all white, and I think it's really clean.
There you go. I like that as well because
number 4.
That's my number 4. The new whiteout uniforms in terms of it. I think the color rocks. I think the helmet rocks. I think these are going to look sleek. I think these are going to look fantastic when they're in action, especially under lights, under the night lights. If this was played during the day, maybe that's a different story in terms of it. But I truly think it taps into something that I think Bulldog fans can get behind, which is that highlight of that agriculture that's out there that makes what this valley is. And it's been too long before we recognize a lot of different aspects of this community through these uniforms. Before we had the Native American heritage stuff that came on, which we'll have this weekend. In terms of it, you have the salute to service, Bulldog helmets we've seen with some of the red, white, and blue, but it was long overdue to put the green V at the forefront for a game. It's what Coach Hill stood on in terms of when he put the V on the helmet way back in the mid-'90s when he came here. And I think it's a great way to honor that, especially for a coach that's in the Ring of Honor and for what those teams have played for in the Central Valley. So, whiteouts, love them.
Yep, agreed. My number 4, I wish we could show the audience what these uniforms were.
If
but
you got pictures,
I do, and I'm going to show it.
You're going to juggle like 14 things trying to do it, but
you're right. I'm going to go with the 2011 home uniforms. I'll show them to you right now.
Yes.
They're all reds, and they have the blue triangle going down the middle of the helmet. I'll show the YouTube audience.
I remember those.
Now. I really like them. I think this is the best all red uniform that we've had. I love the bulldog on the side of the helmet, and I think the blue triangle coming down the middle of the helmet really makes it really good. So that's my number 4.
Am I remembering a blue stripe down the pant line as well?
It is, yes, blue stripe.
Because there was like a faded stripe one time as well. I'm trying to remember when they switched to it, but I remember the blue being pronounced there. I wasn't like the biggest fan of that style of uniform from the mid-2000s. It is associated with maybe the greatest era of Fresno State football at that time. But, I'm not like particularly the biggest, like, oblong shaped kind of person on the helmet in terms of it. But
I think of all of them, this was the best one.
No, it's a good uniform. I'm not hating on it, but I have a better one here for me in my particular aesthetic.
Number
3, which is I like the mid-2000 Reds. I like them playing. I know the jerseys look like practice jerseys with how see-through you can see them in terms of it. But there's something to the lettering that has the blue accent to it that looks fantastic. It's an old school look for the Bulldogs. I would imagine maybe we see this maybe come out as a throwback in honor of maybe these teams. We're hitting 2025. We are 25 years ago from the 01 team that was absolutely the team that, put Fresno on the map in a sense of beating Oregon State in that massive game. I could totally imagine athletics, honoring a way to bring back that kind of style of uniform. But I think there's something simplistic to it. It's got the 4-paw helmet as well. It's got the green V on it. I think there's something nice and classic and pretty clean to those helmets and those uniforms from the era of the mid-2000s.
Agreed. All right. Number 3 for me, I echo the sentiments of you saying the blue uniforms are really, really nice. I'm going to go with the Native American heritage blue uniforms that we had. It had the white helmet, but with the blue jersey and the white pants. I love the Native American helmet. I think it's one of the cleanest helmets that we've had. The feathers look great. The red, white, and blue colors go really good together. And I just like the white, blue, white look that we had on that specific game. I think we've only played in this specific combination one time, and it was in 2024. I think it was against Hawaii.
I got it against Hawaii here. Yeah.
So moment-wise, maybe not the greatest, but I love the uniform combination that was happening on.
Hey, you just got to wear them again and not have that memory.
Yeah, you got to erase the memory from what it's attached to.
Exactly.
Number 2.
I'll go to this year's red with the 4-paw. I think this is as good of a move from this team as it could be in terms of the uniform aspect of it. It is so back to kind of where the basics were for this Bulldog side of things. I don't have much more to say at it. It's a good modern uniform, really clean, and I think it's a good. The 4-paw, the old 4-paw had a red Fresno State shirt, but I like the all white kind of nature to it. It makes the thing pop a little bit more as opposed to it, instead of it maybe being lost a little bit in the red helmet. So I think that's a good change to it, and I think it's just super loyal to what Fresno State has been, which is just what it is, the classic red, the Bulldog red that everyone thinks about. So that's what I got at number 2. Nope, you didn't.
For my number 2, we got to juggle a lot of things.
You're doing a lot.
For my number 2, I agree with you. Those early 2000s uniforms looked really good, but I'm going to go with the road variant, the one with the white jersey, and it's got you said the blue on the background of the numbers. I love the 4-paw on the helmet. I like it's just clean red, no stripe down the middle. I think it looks great. I think this is the best combination in terms of what that uniform was. The red, white, red. It's always been a classic uniform style for Fresno State, but I just think the numbers really do this thing service, and I also think that the helmet itself is probably one of the better helmets that we've ever had.
Yeah, And to number one.
Number one.
It's never going to be topped. I don't think it'll ever be topped, this uniform, in the history of Fresno State. It's a bold statement for me to say, but nothing can beat what was introduced in 2013 in the blackout uniforms that Fresno State has won. It's the best version of the blackout uniforms, the silver on the helmet with the number on one side, the front-facing bulldog on the other, complete intimidation, the red eyes in there as well, with the red stripe going down the middle, kind of in a reverse way from what the blue you were talking about, the blue helmet. It goes in a different direction. It's thick to the thin side. I think that's a better, cleaner look to it. It looks like you got speed going at you in terms of it. I think the numbers pop with a silver outline with the red on the black. There are no notes I have for this uniform. I know we've had variants of the blackout uniform, but to me, this is the most unique and speaks to an era of Bulldog side football that I think teams feared this Bulldog team when it came and played them at Bulldog Stadium. So blackout 2013, my number one uniform.
I am a sucker for a blackout uniform, but I'm going to go with a little bit of a different one. First of all, did you like the new blackout uniform that just got released? I think
I want to see. I want to see it under the lights. Yeah. We didn't get that chance.
Right.
I would rather give it another shot. Give it another shot under the lights. I wish we got that chance, but
yeah, I agree. But I'm gonna go with last year's blackout uniforms.
Yeah.
The ones with the Bulldog script on the side. It's so clean. I love red and black together. I think it goes so perfectly. But the white outline on the new stylized numbers, I like the numbers and the font of our newer uniforms than the early 2010s uniforms. That's kind of the separator for me. And if I needed to include one black uni, I think the one with the red Bulldog script on the side with the all black and the red font with the white outlines looks absolutely perfect. So that's my number one.
That was Phil's 5 at 5.
Great list for sure. I hate to hate on the script Bulldog. I just don't. It's just not for me.
I prefer
Yeah.
the Bulldogs on the side, whether it's like the
Yeah.
front facing or the actual full Bulldog, but I just think it looks perfect in this one.
No, it's a good pick. Everyone likes, everyone's got their taste, and certainly we'll see what it looks like in action. All those uniforms, especially the whiteout coming up in a couple of weeks, or in next Saturday. All right, let's take a break. When we come back, we're going to have my interview with Ryan McCarthy. Their team's 3-0 to start the year. Another great win last night. They're going to be hitting the road soon. So I want to get to that interview next. Stay with us behind the bench on 1430 ESPN.
Hey, Fresno and Clovis sports fans, if you're near the Fresno State area, check out Ichi Shabu at Campus Point, right next to Maya Cinemas. It's modern shabu-shabu Japanese hot pot where you cook fresh meats and seafood right at your table in rich, flavorful broth. It's a fun way to eat and a great spot to relax before or after the game. And for all ESPN listeners, you'll get 10% off your bill when you use promo code ESPN10, valid now through November 30th. Ichi Shabu at Campus Point. Good food, good friends, and a new way to enjoy hot pot.
Strong company culture doesn't happen by accident. It starts with well-trained managers who know how to lead with purpose. The Sandler Management Accelerated Program is a 10-week course that gives your leaders a clear roadmap to management success. They'll learn how to manage, develop, and retain your most valuable resource, your people. The next cohort starts Thursday, November 20th. Learn more at Sandler.com. That's Sandler.com.
At Clausen Honda in Fresno, you're not just getting a car, you're stepping into a full service experience. From the latest new Honda models to certified pre-owned vehicles, a cafe to grab your morning coffee, and a team dedicated to making you feel respected and well served. Whether you're trading in, buying, or scheduling service for your ride, Clausen Honda has you covered with transparent financing, a full service center. Drive in today and see how easy getting behind the wheel can be. Clausen Honda at 6346 North Blackstone Avenue in Fresno.
At Helena Agri-Enterprises, we're committed to helping you make the best agronomic decisions for your farm. That's why we combine cutting-edge technology with superior product. Helena's agri-intelligence solutions use in-depth analysis to identify potential problems in the field before they take root. Combined with a complete line of high-quality crop production and crop protection inputs, Helena has the tools to help you increase productivity, enhance performance, and maximize your return on investment. Contact your local Helena representative or authorized dealer to create the right plan for your farm with Helena products and agri-intelligence solutions.
Are you a business owner struggling to understand how cloud technology can help your business? Are you in need of computer and technology support for your employees? M-Cubed Technologies is your solution for fully managed IT services. 24 hours a day, 365 days a year. M-Cubed will be your partner in the digital world, allowing your business to carry on worry-free. We specialize in cloud hosting, Microsoft 365 management, general IT support, and VoIP phone services. Call M-Cubed Technologies today to discuss our partnerships.
Welcome to Banyan Tree, Fresno's favorite dispensary. Voted 2025's Best of Central California's People's Choice Award. Need some healing and relaxation? From flower to edibles, concentrate to vapes, we've got top shelf products at down-to-earth prices. Whether you're a seasoned smoker or just kinda curious, our knowledgeable staff will help you find your perfect match. So climb the Banyan Tree and see how high you can get today. Order ahead at banyantreefresno.com for quick and easy pickup. Banyan Tree, rooted in quality, grown in Fresno.
Summer's winding down, and fall is the perfect time to get your home ready for the cooler nights ahead. At Lee's Air Plumbing and Heating, we've been keeping Fresno families comfortable since 1981. A seasonal service now means peace of mind all winter long, knowing your system is ready when you need it most. When the holidays come, your home will be cozy and welcoming for everyone who walks through the door. Don't miss out on the comfort you deserve. Call Lee's Air today and step into the season with confidence.
At FFB, we know behind every business is a person. That's why we're more than a bank. We're a partner, a farming-focused bank for hard workers, a future-forward bank for big dreamers, and a family-friendly bank for the next generation of owners. From first ideas to major milestones, we're here to help you chase your goals and score big. So what can FFB mean for your business? Find out at ffb.bank. That's ffb.bank. FFB Bank. Let's win together.
Here on 1430 ESPN Fresno, the Valley's local sports leader. All right, so the Fresno State women's basketball team has off to a good start, 3-0. I know it's early and the opponents are the opponents, but I think that it's good to recognize how good play has been so far from that side of things. And we talk too negatively about the other team. I want to give positive basketball news to it. So I had a chance to interview Ryan McCarthy before the season. I wanted us to revisit that interview because I think it's important to pay attention to with this Bulldog team, especially they got a ranked game next week on the road against Washington on a Wednesday. So I think there's some good opportunity for this team to be playing really good basketball and potentially putting them names on the map here. So here's Ryan McCarthy, my interview with him before the season. Just take a listen to what he had to say about this team. All right, we're here in studio with head coach Ryan McCarthy of the Fresno State women's basketball team. Coach, it's good to always have you, especially ahead of the anticipation of a season beginning. And, Coach, good to have you in. Excited to get the season rolling here soon.
Thanks so much for having me.
Yeah, excited. And we're looking forward to what we can anticipate with this women's basketball team. I hear the word mayhem more than I've heard into a lead up into the season. I don't know, Coach, if you're I don't know if you have a tally of how many times you've heard it, but I know people are excited about the brand that is being brought to this program. What excites you about what we're seeing so far in the lead up?
We've had a couple of competitions early on. We had a scrimmage against a Division I team down in L.A., and then we had our exhibition against UC Merced. And so, I think, both results were the same. We won both competitions, and in different ways. I thought we looked better in some facets down at CSUN, and I thought we looked better at some facets when we played UC Merced. But we had to clean up some things, and especially the way that we finished each competition. So I'm excited. I think this team has a lot to prove. It's a lot of players without Division I resumes, and I think we might be the only team in the whole country that has as many Division II transfers as what we had to kind of fill out this roster. And then our player with the most impressive Division I resume averaged 7 points a game at a 6-win team. So for year one, I think it's a good opportunity for a lot of these ladies that haven't had much success at the Division I level, and to be able to prove that they're better than what their statistics shown.
Yeah, obviously you don't have to tell them a lot in order to draw what they need out of their game to show that they belong at this level. Of course, when it comes to players who come from one level to another, it's no secret they're fighting for that spot every time. And when you get these players to come in to this situation and get ready to play, the level of competition, the amount of depth these teams showcase in terms of the talent, what were the conversations like getting them prepared for a season like this?
I think, with the ladies that transferred up, they've maybe lost 12 games in their career, so this was a situation where I think they came in with a lot of confidence, and they had tested themselves against Division I level competition and were successful. So I think the biggest thing for them was, helping our coaching staff establish a winning culture and, what that expectation should be night in and night out, and not just on game nights. And so to me, that's what I've noticed with this team was that, we all of a sudden became somebody different the day before the game and the day of the game. And that was a long conversation we had to have as a team. And I think we've made some big steps forward. We had probably our best practice of the year last night. But, at the end of the day, you can talk about how tough you are, but eventually you got to fight, And so I think, with this team, we've had that conversation a lot. And we are right now, if, we were keeping track, we're 2-0. But I think at the same time, there's stormy seas ahead if we're not continually making improvements.
You mentioned these exhibitions and what you bring out of them. And, of course, now we're into the games that'll count for real starting on Monday. But what do you as a coach try to get out of that? Is it as much of a simulation of what you throw out there in terms of rotation, or is it a trial in terms of I'm trying out some things, I'm trying out some mixtures and combos and how I want to throw out the lineups?
Yeah, I think it's a little mixture of both. I think one was just, getting the ladies out there, and especially when we were down playing the Division I team, getting down there and just proving that, hey, like this works, we'll win if you meet the standard that we have for you. And then I think the other part was, I think, our game against Merced, I would imagine that causing 38 turnovers in a game would be a top 10 in program history. And so, I told them, you guys could you could make a mark on the history of the program, if you continue to buy in at this level. So I think, part of it was, we're messing around, we're tinkering with some lineups to see, where is our depth and what does that look like and who plays well together in those situations. And then obviously teaching some players some different positions and trying those out, because, in UC Merced, we tinkered around with a lineup that was like, hey, what if so-and-so got in foul trouble? Or, we really didn't have to deal with any foul trouble in that game. So, last quarter, we're kind of throwing out some different things, and we hadn't really practiced it. So that was good to see how that could work in a game and, go back this week and practice and kind of fix some of those things that weren't super sharp.
How much do you as a coach kind of R&D that throughout the season of just, do you come up with your lineup at the beginning and say, okay, this is what I believe in will work, and kind of like a football coach is like, these are the starters and this is what we got? Or is it more nuanced? Is it like a baseball coach who thinks of the lineup a little bit and like, maybe I put this person forth and see where they react into these situations? How does that measure in comparison to those examples?
Yeah, I think it's more like a boxing, more like a boxer.
Yeah.
You gotta knock the guy out to get your spot, and everything that we do is competitive. So, yeah, it's more. If you want to be the sparring partner, then you got to give the fighter some good rounds. And so I think, for us, we measure everything in wins, deflections, and rebounds, and those are the things that win. In the history of our program, we've been doing this for 14 years now. We're undefeated when we have 35 or more deflections in a game, and none of the other stats matter. So that would be something that we really chart in practice, and we break down and we show them when we can get those opportunities. But yeah, I would say we look at it a little bit lineup-wise. It is performance-based. I'm not going to roll with the starters because I'm loyal to the starters. They got to show us that they're winners, and they're going to practice hard so that we know what to expect in the game.
I want to go back to the deflection part. Where did you find the correlation? Was it early on as a coach, or is that just some core belief you've had kind of really from the beginning when you were coming up as a coach?
So I had heard Rick Pitino talk about it one time when he was at Kentucky, and for them it was 30 or more deflections, and if they were to get those, they were undefeated. And so when we started charting ours, we just kind of took the number 35. We had kind of charted it in practice and some practice games and stuff like that. And, ever since, we started doing that, we went back into Synergy and started looking at all the games and charted the deflections. And, there's games we'll win and, maybe we get 17 deflections, but we know it is guaranteed that there is a victory in store for us when we get 35 or more.
So when it comes to creating that, obviously the key word mayhem in terms of that being a part of that, what does it come out from, or where does it come from a player? Is it the anticipation on defense? Is it the instincts on defense? Is it the scouting of like knowing what kind of sets they're running in terms of what they're seeing and how they're formulating the way they're lined up on the court? Where does it come from having that success and finding your way to that number you set?
I think it's like, we have to focus on what we do. I think jumping the ball is really important, being up the line in denial, and being able to recruit athletic players. A lot of that, high school coaches ask me all the time, particularly on the boys' side, what do you do? And, you have this crazy record. Can we implement this? And, we're not playing the same game as high school. We're playing chess, and high school's playing poker. They got to – I'm kind of playing poker this year, like they're, it's the hand you're dealt, and that's how you got to play it. That's a game of poker. So I think for us, a lot of it is teaching them the instinct of that. I think a lot of the time, girls don't grow up playing basketball as much as boys. You go down to a park, it's very rare that you're going to see 10 girls out there playing. And so their IQ as they grow up just isn't the same instinctually as boys would be, if you were to kind of generalize it. So we try to teach them that part. And then I think with, the mentality of it, we just create a very competitive atmosphere that we want to make sure that it's intense. And that's one thing I think a lot of other teams can't simulate. This is maybe when you get to be the college basketball player, you go from being, just a normal civilian to a Marine. Well, if you come to us, you're becoming a Navy SEAL. So that's kind of how I look at that.
What is the conditioning like for your players leading into a season? Is it tough to get ready for a season for players?
Yeah, I would say this was probably the easiest one, right? Because we had to, when you came to my old school, you were coming there to win a championship. You were not coming there because the weather was good, right? Yeah. And so here it's a little bit different because we're kind of trying to instill that. But if you ask any player on our team and you ask them what the hardest preseason they've ever had, they would say this. And I think that we can prove we can make it harder. But I think, what we always talk to them about is, as hard as that was, that's what we want to drag the other team through for 40 minutes every time we play them.
Obviously, fans are excited to see this team and what they're capable of. I'm sure you could name every player on the roster, but I want to highlight a few for you in terms of what are some players fans are going to be excited to see when maybe they don't know about them yet, because obviously a lot of this roster is new. There's a few returners, but other than that, tell me a few players that I think fans are going to learn about and find out about and be really excited to get to know and see them on the court.
Well, one I would say is Jaysa Gamble. She's a team captain for us this year, and she's played for me the longest. Mm-hmm. She's also one of the more improved players that I've ever coached. Against Merced, she had 21 points and had 13 deflections. And for us, there's an award after every game that we get a win, and it's a 2-foot-long dog bone. And the person that gets the most deflections, we just call it the hungry dog gets the bone. And so you write down the number of deflections you had. If you had the most, only on wins, you write the score, the date. And so she was the winner of the dog bone last time. And then I think the other person that won the dog bone for my team last year would be Amelia Long.
Okay.
And she was recruited by a majority of the Mountain West when she went into the transfer portal. And so she reminds me a lot of a guy named Bennett Sturts on the men's side, who was a transfer from Northwest Missouri State. He was second team All-League in the MIAA. and then he went on to become the Missouri Valley Conference Player of the Year at the Division I level. So all of a sudden he got way better, right? I think that kind of reminds me of Millie a little bit, and she's a really special athlete, and those two are at the front of our press. And then I think one player I think has a lot of potential to be really good would be Jess Diarawa. And she was a transfer from San Jose State, was 5th in the Mountain West in offensive rebounds. And, you know, we've coached her very hard this year. And she's, you know, continuing to develop her game and things. But I think if that light turns on for her, she could be a big problem.
You know, it's exciting to see just kind of the blend of just different backgrounds of this roster in terms of it, and the combination of maybe where all of these girls have learned basketball coming into this team and making this team what it is. For you, Coach, does it excite you about like the different ideas that can come from these players based off of where they've kind of grown up playing the game in terms of the aspect of basketball?
Yeah, I think it challenges us as a staff. You know, we do have a diverse team. We have some, you know, deficiencies in terms of like, you know, we are on the smaller side of a Division I team, but we do have some pretty diverse skill sets where we can put certain individuals in space and, you know, take advantage of our athleticism, because I do think we are on the upper end of a Division I team for athleticism. So that gives us an advantage in, you know, the game when it becomes a 94-foot game. So, you know, for us, that's what we're really trying to challenge them to do, and, you know, to think creatively, you know, not just be, you know, robotic in our offense, and be confident in, you know, their game, because really nobody, with the exception of, you know, maybe 2 or 3 players that had played at the Division II level, are used to being quote unquote the man, you know, and so we're just trying to kind of unleash that in them a little bit and take ownership in their game.
I want to ask about the schedule too, about this team, and of course you're getting going on Monday against FPU, but there's some obviously some interesting teams out there in terms of it. Some big schools out there with a lot of money, like a Washington coming in. You got to go to Washington. You know, you go to a tournament facing New Mexico State and Louisiana Lafayette. You get you know, St. Mary's is a decent program. You know, tell me about the diversity of what you're preparing your team for when you schedule this non-conference as you want to get them ready for Mountain West play.
Yeah, I mean, some of that schedule is already set for us, and so you know, I thought it was honestly a good schedule for us, because, you know, we kind of up the ante as it goes along. You start out with like an FPU, and then I think it's Seattle U or Bakersfield, and, you know, we kind of go into that like a more like a low major type of level, and then we beef it up after New Orleans with or right before New Orleans with UW, BYU.
Yeah, you got BYU, Washington, and then Santa Clara all on the road.
Yeah, those are 3 hitters right in a row, right? So, and I know Santa Clara's got a bunch of NIL money, so they had a really good transfer portal class come in. But, you know, that's good for us. You know, I want that. You know, that's a really, like, I always think you learn more about your team around Thanksgiving. And so you think you know who you got at the beginning. You know, you do your own inter-squad, you know, competitions, and some of that cream rises to the top. But you always have like 1 or 2 dark horses that kind of show you who they are around Thanksgiving. And then you can, you know, I've always added the most sets in during that time. We always make the most adjustments, you know, during that time to our game plan, and maybe what type of team we're going to be, because we've always pressed and we've always played fast and, you know, these types of things, but we haven't always done it the same way. So every team has its own signature. So I'm excited to learn more about them, because this isn't a team that, you know, I've coached for 2 or 3 years. That's the part that I'm excited about. But I definitely think our schedule gives us opportunity to learn those lessons.
And then, I mean, you got back from Mountain West Media Days. You got to know some of the coaches, I'm sure. Saw some of the other opponents that are going to be coming into this conference, including 1 year with Grand Canyon, who's going to be added to this conference this year. In terms of it, you know, what stands out? Obviously, this is the one and only year Fresno State's got left in the Mountain West before we move to the newly formed Pac-12. But what challenges does the Mountain West present in terms of the caliber of coaching, caliber of players, and what you're going to be facing in the conference this year?
No, I think it definitely does have really good coaches. I think every level does, though. I think some of the best coaches in the country. You know, I've had the opportunity to coach against Duke and Georgetown, and, you know, these really, really big programs during my time. And I'm going to tell you, some of the best coaches I've coached against were Division II. And just how they move their pieces, and you're just kind of having to do more with less. I do think that this league does have some very good coaches. That's not to minimize any of them. And I do think the caliber of player that the Mountain West can get, I think is really high because it has such good brand recognition, probably more so because of football and men's basketball. But I think on the women's side, we're excited about that. I think in year one, it's difficult to sit here and say, man, we're going to be the best team, or we're not a ninth place team, because I don't think anybody knows. Not that we don't know because we haven't seen every single team play in front of us, but they haven't seen us either. And so I don't know how to answer that one. But if there were like a BMF award, like how UFC has it, that's the award that I would want this year.
We would take that for sure. Coach, it's exciting, like I said before, to just get ready to get going here in the basketball season, which gets going on Monday. You've coached a long time, so I don't know if nerves is the right word to describe it, but just what's the eagerness like? Is you just to have finally a game for real to put on paper? I know you had the exhibitions, but this one counts to the record on Monday. What is it like as you lead into the game since you've been hired to where you are now? I'm sure it's been just building and building.
Yeah, I mean that's our mindset, right? Is building and just trying to be as prepared as we can, and I think with the ladies, not trying to overwhelm them with what we know, like give them some of the keys to the game that we think that we can teach in that amount of time and that they can comprehend. And I think the longer we go, maybe against Fresno Pacific, for example, their dribble drive, they do all these pitchbacks and handoffs, and they're undersized, and they're only going to shoot lay-ins or threes. There's not very much mid-range game to those guys. And so we can take that for a week, and we can have that in our toolbox for the next week, and maybe we're playing an opponent the following week that really wants to bang on the interior or something and work on our post defense and our doubles out of that and stuff. So, I think that's what I'm excited about as the year goes on, just that process of maximizing what our potential can be.
Of course, getting the fans to Save Mart Center to watch this team, what excites you about what the fans can see this year in terms of the women's basketball product, and what getting the people down to Save Mart to see this team play?
My goal is, one of the reasons I took this job, because this area values toughness and grit and all the things that I am about to my core. And so what I want them to walk away is that they saw the toughest, hardest playing team that they have ever seen. And I want to continue to prove that night in and night out. One other thing is it won't just be about basketball. I have a meeting tonight with our band director. I know they're composing a song for us as we come out. I've met with a couple of the fraternities, and was hoping I would get some Frank the Tank chants or something like that. But we're going to have them at the game, and I just think at the end of the day, whether you're a basketball fan or women's basketball fan or not, we want to create a party. And I think that this is the last level of basketball where you do have a band, you do have a student section, you can get the Greek life in the game and kind of spice that up a little bit. And I think that's what a lot of fans miss about their college days. It's not just about the entertainment value like the pros. College is special because of those things, and we want to make sure that we do a good job of exposing that for creating that kind of environment for our home games.
Ryan, I appreciate it as always. Best of luck this year. I'm sure this will have you sometime again in this season, so appreciate it as always.
Thank you so much.
Absolutely. We'll be right back with more Behind the Bench right after this on 1430 ESPN.
For 80 years, Fresno Pacific University has been shaping the heart and soul of California as the Central Valley's only accredited Christian university. Today, our deep faith roots and pride in our community drive us to provide affordable, career-relevant education that transforms the lives of our students and the communities they serve. Discover your calling through over 100 undergraduate and graduate programs offered on campus or fully online. Fresno Pacific University. Learn more at fpu.edu.
Get ready for game day with Toledo's Football Party Pack. 2 dips, queso, guacamole, or bean and chorizo. Order online, pick it up fast at any of the 3 locations, and you're set. Or head to Toledo's new sports bar at Cedar and Knees, the Valley's new game day headquarters, for your favorite college and NFL matchups on the big screens. And you'll love their happy hour, Monday to Friday, 2 to 5. Saturday and Sunday, 8 to 10, with $10 apps and $7 house margaritas. Toledo's Mexican restaurant, your winning game plan.
At Citizens Business Bank, we've been taking a personal approach to banking for over 40 years and are consistently recognized as one of the top performing banks in the nation. Hi, I'm Susan Woosner, Senior Vice President and Manager of Citizens Business Bank in Fresno. We believe in the importance of building long-lasting and genuine relationships with our customers. We want to provide you with the solutions you need to grow your business because your success is our success. Citizens Business Bank, member FDIC.
Football fans, it's Phil Bonatti with Behind the Bench. The season is heating up, so bring your tailgate to mid-season form with Grocery Outlet in Kerman, Sanger, and Fresno's Southeast, Downtown, and Northwest stores. Stock up and save big on quality meats, snacks, drinks, beer, and wine. The same great quality, but always at lower prices. And while you're there, enter the Tailgate Ready contest to win 2 tickets to the next Fresno State home game, plus $100 for your tailgate. Only at Kerman, Sanger, and Fresno's Southeast, Downtown, and Northwest Grocery Outlets.
Get ready for the ultimate Monday Night Showdown, only at Chukchansi Gold. Starting September 8th through December 29th, win your share of $80,000 in giveaways, including $51,000 in e-cash. Earn entries all day Sunday, Monday, and Thursday. Then join us for drawings every Monday from 5 to 8 p.m. Swipe your rewards card during the game inside Firehouse Lounge for a free entry into over $28,000 in prizes, including football gear and more. Game day starts here at Chukchansi Gold.
This November, keep your vibes high and your wallet happy at Valley Pure Dispensaries. We've got Fire Flower, tasty edibles, and concentrates that make every sesh a celebration. And all November long, the savings are smoking. Join us Saturday, November 15th at Valley Pure Farmersville for our 6-year anniversary bash with food trucks, a live DJ from 4 to 7, and massive deals like BOGO Stizzy Vapes, 50% off Dabwoods, and exclusive giveaways. And don't forget, all 5 Valley Pure locations are open on Thanksgiving. Stay lifted, stay thankful, stay Valley Pure.
Get your business noticed and stand out from the crowd by visiting Megaprints. Working with the Valley's most prestigious and high-profile businesses since 1998, we print and install custom-designed signs for businesses of all types and sizes. From yard signs to banners to wallpaper and fleet graphics, Megaprints has the state-of-the-art capability to turn the signage you've dreamed of into a reality. Visit megaprints.com today to see our work and what we can do for your business.
Game day just got a whole lot sweeter and a little bit saucier. KFC's bringing back one of the most requested plays in menu history, the original Honey Barbecue. That's right, that sweet, smoky, finger-licking legend for the late 90s is back and better than ever. Now you can get that classic Honey Barbecue flavor on everything, including their 2-piece chicken combo for $10.99, or the original Honey Barbecue chicken sandwich for $11.99. The original Honey Barbecue, sweet, savory, and back in the game.
On 1430 ESPN Fresno, the Valley's local sports leader. We are here live to close out the show. A little reminder of the schedule before we say goodbye. Lakers basketball tonight, 6:15 with the pregame with the 6:30 first kickoff there. First pitch. What am I doing? Tip-off. Tip-off is what they do.
I said first pitch as well.
I did. I went to all the different sports.
Ah, yes.
Puck drop. In OKC. No, I'm kidding. Tip-off, 6:30. Sunbird Sports Show is about to get going, too. They're here just getting started. Paul Meadows just rolled through, so that's going to get going at 6 p.m. as well over on 790. Well, Sportsline Bulldog Hour, Tony D, 2 to 3 tomorrow. We'll have my show from 3 to 5. And then we'll take you up to Jets-Patriots, my favorite game of the week. Jets-Patriots.
Somehow, some way.
I'm still laughing at what I did there with the Bonatti Blitz yesterday.
It was hilarious.
It was, and now it's no longer hilarious as I continue to point it out. There you go. Sharks and Flames tomorrow. Hey, guess who's hot? The Sharks. Break up the Sharks, am I right? They are
they're the next dynasty.
6-0-1 in their last 7, and they take on a Calgary Flames team who has been horrendous this year. Go figure. Maybe the hockey gods will smile upon them, get a win tomorrow. That'll be a 5:30 pregame with a 6 p.m. puck drop on 790. You'll have my show tomorrow or Friday at 3 to 5, and then we'll sign off at 5 o'clock. Head over to La Monica for the pregame. Clovis West. 6:30 pre with a 7 p.m. kickoff there. Myself, Paul Metters, Pat Hill on the call. Saturday will be the Central Valley Sports Report with Paul Metters from 10 a.m. to noon to recap all of the action, taking you all the way up to 12 o'clock. Lakers and, what do we got? Bucks? Is that who they play on Saturday? I got to check that. But they're going to play on Saturday as well. That'll be NBA basketball. I'm going to make sure that's correct. Looks like we have college football as well over on 790. USC at Iowa. Or is that Iowa, or is that USC home versus Iowa? Do we know that off the top of our head? Verify that real quick if you got it. Vastly different places to be. USC at Iowa at this time of year. That's at 12 p.m. on 790.
It's at USC.
At USC. Okay. All right. Man, I wish USC was playing that. By the way, Iowa-Oregon, that was my favorite game of the week.
One hell of a game.
Yeah, this week. I know everyone was talking Indiana, Penn State in that finale and the way that catch was made, but I don't know why. I was just locked in on Oregon and Iowa. Man, Iowa was so close. And then on Sunday, we'll have Niners-Cardinals, 12 p.m. pre with a 1 p.m. kickoff. Rams and Seahawks over on 790, same exact time. And then on Sunday Night Football on 1430, we'll have Lions and Eagles. We'll be back Monday. Take you up to Monday Night Football between the Cowboys and the Raiders. All right, daily spread time brought to you by Chuchancy Gold Resort and Casino. If you're not trying your luck with your team, try your luck with Chuchancy Gold Resort Casino up the mountain. A couple games getting started pretty soon. Once again, Fresno State, 1.5-point favorite tonight against UC San Diego. We will see what happens there. In the NBA, Lakers and Thunder starting at 6:30. That spread 8.5 OKC taking on the Lakers. OKC, we were wondering where they were going to drop a game this year. They did drop a 2-point loss to the Trailblazers. Go figure, the Wild Blazers.
And we joked about it, and it actually happened.
It actually happened. Do the Lakers cover? Can the Lakers win outright tonight? What do you expect in this game coming up tonight?
I think Lakers cover, but I don't think they win. I think the defense of the Oklahoma City Thunder is going to be too much. I think Luka and Austin Reeves both go above 25 tonight, but I just think that SGA and those guys are just going to be too locked in. I have the Thunder winning by like 7.
I think the Lakers need to play above their capabilities in terms of the outside shot. If they start making those, things can really unlock for them. And I don't care if you're the greatest defensive team in the world, that could cause some trouble for the OKC Thunder, but it's asking a lot.
Yeah, they're sitting at 23rd right now in three-point percentage. So, it's going to be a tall order for them to keep continuing to make these threes.
Certainly. So, Lakers coming up. John Ireland, Michael Thompson on the call from OKC. We'll be back tomorrow, 3 o'clock from Fashion Furniture. Over on 790, Sunbird Sports Show about to get started. Paul Metters there as well. We'll see you then. See you tomorrow at 3 o'clock.
Want to work somewhere fun, flexible, and rewarding?